Folks, welcome to So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Friday episode. We've made it to the end of the week. Thank goodness. This is a Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap. This is the Dinner from Hell Part 2 that started off in last week's episode. Get up, stand up for your rights. My name is Sutton. I like the ganja. Sutton like the weed man. I roll a blunt for Santos. And oh my God, you guys, I saw Sutton. Sutton, I want to just pull a joint out of this little puss I have at a dinner table. Sutton contains multitude. It's so I watched this last night after I got home from that party. There were a couple moments in this episode where I was like, what the fuck? What is going on? We it was also revealed in this episode that Sutton can't swallow her own saliva. I honestly don't know how I'm going to get through this episode. But I will say they jammed. Sorry. I didn't expect to get the giggles so quickly. They jammed a lot into this episode for only being 44 minutes. Thank God they didn't extend it in one of those hour and 15 ones, but they used every moment. I thought there was not a missed scene in this. Maybe the only one was with the new lady, Anne-Marie Wiley and Kyle playing pickleball. That was the only thing, just because, I don't know, I'm not super into hearing her story yet. We'll see how it all plays out, but that was the only kind of like, okay, slow it down to learn about a new person. But that's what happens in Housewives. That's what we got to do. How the heck are you guys? Are you good? We started off with a bang already. Man, I can't believe. I wonder when Sutton rides Santos, if Santos is like, Sutton, please tell me you haven't smoked up before you got on top of me. Nay. And so, don't worry, Santos. I'm completely sober from weed and alcohol, I say, before I ride your precious back and pet your mane, I say. Oh, gosh, we're going to have fun today, you guys. If you like this podcast, and why wouldn't you? Please rate it 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and keep this whole operation afloat, folks. We're putting a lot of work in here, especially near the holidays. How's everybody doing with the holidays? Is it's every day? It's creeping closer. Whew. Oh my goodness. So we got that. Also, we have the holiday gift guide that Maritza just put together over on our Substack. That's in the show notes. Go over. It's totally free to sign up for the Substack. You get like weekly to like bi-weekly updates. And we put together this really cool gift guide where all three of us, Sandra, Maritza, and myself, just put some creators out there that we think make for really great holiday gifts. So sign up over there. Also, patreon.com/so bad it's good. I'm going to be doing an update on the Patreon, I think, right after this tonight. So that'll be up there. And we'll be doing another live Patreon this month, plus a couple of other surprises. And sign up now to get your holiday card. We do a really fun holiday card every year. And the last 3 times we've done it, it's been just great. So sign up now to get your holiday card from the So Bad It's Good team. I'm trying to think what other promotional stuff I need to do before I can get into this. God, I hate promoting stuff. I just feel like the biggest douchebag, and that's the name of the game, like with like creators and stuff. But how do you not just feel like a tool? Like every time I even try to like make a TikTok video or something, I just feel like a gigantic douchebag. And I think, you can just read it on my face. I'm just like, oh God, here we go. Oh God, I'm so sometimes in admiration / horror of the people that can actually do that well. 2024. 2024 is the year when I really get used to it. That's going to be the year. Okay. Let me tell you about this Hollywood House Lift premiere party that I went to that I told you about on the Salt Lake recap yesterday. Oh my gosh, that Salt Lake recap. Did you guys like that? I had such a fun time doing that. And I don't know if it's just because I did it earlier in the day than I usually do. And by the way, I'm doing this now a little bit earlier than I usually do too. And I'm like, I know that's like, duh. But for me, I'm like, how come it's like I enjoy it more and I have more energy during the day? Because usually I'm recording with you guys at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night. And so I'm just like I'm just like just dragging sometimes, even though I expend a lot of energy. It just sometimes you're just like trying to get to that finish line. So it's really nice. That's why I think I really enjoyed that Salt Lake recap. So last night, the Hollywood House Lift season 2 is on Amazon Freevee or Amazon Prime. It's Jeff Lewis's reality show where he renovates celebrity domiciles, and a lot of celebrities involved. And it's really fun. I got to watch this entire season, and it's really good. I, you know, I love, God, I'm an OG flipping out lover, and I've been doing that serious Jeff Lewis radio show and hosting the after show. I think I've been on like 5 or 6 times, or maybe, I don't know, but it's been really fun. I love radio. I love doing all that kind of stuff. So if you've been listening over there, I think you can tell how good of a time I've been having. So I was going to this because I have to promote Hollywood House Lift, not on the podcast, but I have to, make a couple videos, and that's not even anything to do with Jeff, like Amazon Freevee. That's through them that reached out. And that's how I got to watch the episodes. So I got invited to this premiere party at the Sunset Tower, at the Tower Bar. And I don't think I had been there before, even though it's kind of an iconic, legendary hotspot in Hollywood, and has been. It's like really classy. So it was like a premiere, and I had to like get dressed up in like a suit. And that was already pissing me off because you know me, I like to be in my basketball shorts. So we get there, and it is, you already see the step and repeat. And I could have done the step and repeat, but I've not done a real step and repeat before. And also just have to explain who I am to like photographer. Like, I'm Ryan Bailey from So Bad It's Good. Just have to explain. I don't know. I probably could be so much further if I didn't have all the bullshit in my head telling me not to and being embarrassed by things. I think you guys listening, you're like, another one of those, duh, yeah. But it's always in there. So, I was watching like the step and repeat, and it was funny. And immediately we get in there and we're hit by Vicky Gunvalson. Like, Vicky Gunvalson is immediately in there. And I'm like, whoa, okay, Vicky's here. And I'll share a couple little tidbits from the night. Shannon Bedore was there. She wasn't drinking, but I will say this. Shannon Bedore looked amazing. I've not seen Shannon Bedore look that good. I mean, and I've been critical of Shannon. She looked stunning. Like, she looked really beautiful. And because I wanted to go up to her and be like, fuck John Jansen. Fuck John Jansen. But I didn't think that was appropriate. It's probably not appropriate. And like, I can talk tough on this podcast, but in person, I'm a completely different animal. And when we had the Housewives Nightcap ladies on Wednesday, Emily and Lauren, which you need to go follow them or listen to their show or even listen to the podcast we did with them because it was so fun. But they mentioned, they're like, wow, I think it was Emily said, your Instagram is so different than how you are because you can kind of be biting or cutting. And I'm like, yeah, it is interesting how I will, I'll put out like kind of not a snarky, it can be snarky at times. I'll put out a joke or something that can be cutting, but it's not who I am. If you meet me or if you listen to this podcast, you guys know that I actually have a heart and soul. Some days, halfway through the week, usually not, but at the beginning and the end of the week, I usually have heart and soul. But sometimes I don't go up and introduce myself and explain what I do because I would be horrified if Shannon Bedore ever listened to the show or me talking about it. Like that will sometimes keep me up at night because I've gotten now hip to the fact that certain housewives and certain Bravo celebrities do listen to the show. Shout out if you guys are listening, please stop. Is it like, oh, I want to be able to feel free to say whatever I want. And I think, by the way, even thinking about it and even with Sandoval and Scandoval, I really said my honest opinions because, I was friendly with Tom Sandoval, but I still spoke exactly what I felt about that situation. So much so that it kind of turned me off of Tom. And it was funny. I was listening to clips of the Twats pod with Freddie and Tamra, and they interviewed the two Toms, and I was enjoying the clips that I was hearing. I mean, not enjoying is not the word. I thought it was good information, but it was also it just shows you how psychologically we view ourselves and how we always paint ourselves as the victims in any scenario, because nobody really truly goes through life looking at themselves as the villain. And if they do, it's kind of in, I have to play the villain, I guess, in reality television. But they're not going through their daily life going, I am pure evil. I love it. I love being a villain. I just really have negative thoughts 24/7. No. So it's really interesting still to this day to hear Tom find new ways to pivot about how, it always just comes off a little like I'm the victim. Ariana sucks. You don't understand. Like it always just comes off like that. And now the new iteration of this was, you don't understand. I was truly in love with Rachel, dude. I was in love with her, dude. And she just dipped out on me. So now Rachel is the asshole. Like Rachel broke Tom's heart, allegedly, from Tom's side of the story. And that's why it's so important to get everybody's side of the story. And also just to remember that I usually am right in everything that I say. I got to tell you, man, I might even listen to the Twats Pod for the first time just for that interview. And maybe I'll do a recap on the Patreon or something, because I was like, okay, this has piqued my interest. This has piqued my interest. And it seems like they are being somewhat pressing on the questions that they asked these two gentlemen. But like I said, initially when Scandal broke, this Tom's redemption has already come. Like everybody's kind of just accepted, okay, he's just another one of those douchey dudes, and he's basically a nice guy that does really bad things. We've heard that time and time again. So it'll be interesting as season 11 starts ramping up, and it is ramping up now. They're actually doing a Vanderpump Rules special this next week called like Rumors and Lies, 10 seasons of Rumors and Lies, I think is the title, which I'm like, imagine that. Imagine that being the calling card of your show of like 10 seasons of complete betrayal and ass douchery. But I'm excited to watch that because we love mess. Also today, I believe I'm on the Shenanigans pod, or Shenanigans with Sheena Shea, and I'm joined by Kiki Monique. And I got to tell you, I'm excited to see how they edit that down, because the conversation we had, I thought was really good. And I thought there was some good dirt revealed. So go listen to that. I had a really great time doing that. And I think it was interesting, especially I hope she leaves the stuff in that we talked about in terms of Raquel, because I really hope they leave that section in and don't cut it, because I thought that was really telling. And I can't tell you, God, I was given some dirt about Rachel's podcast that I'm not allowed to say. Maybe I can say it in the future, but it is exactly what I've been thinking. And I talked about on Monday's show about what I would do if I was Rachel. And I think I talked about it last Friday as well. And I got to tell you, it doesn't seem like she's doing what I think she should be doing. And I hope she actually, and whoever's involved, really start putting the work in to make this opportunity work. Because like I said, there's so many podcasts out there. There's so many competition for your ears, dear listeners. There's so, I think I'm going to just hold a sandwich board down by Sutton Concept to be like, please listen to So Bad It's Good. I need your support, I say. Okay, so Shannon, but I love how I can just get completely sidetracked. Oh yeah, Hollywood Houselet. You know who is there, you guys? Chris Hansen, the host of To Catch a Predator. He's been on So Bad It's Good. Got to meet him. Him and his lovely wife were there. Let's see who else. Okay, so Shannon was there. Kristen Takeman was there. Vicky Gunvalson was there. I finally got to meet Jackie Schimmel in person. Oh my gosh, Jackie Schimmel and her friend that she came with, they were so funny and nice. And I just enjoyed meeting her so much. She makes me laugh so hard. And so it was great to see her. I loved that. Let's see who, gosh, I'm forgetting. Oh, Ronald Gladden, the lead of Jury Duty, that Amazon Freebie show that I loved, where they pranked this dude, Ronald, for the entire season by making him go to a fake jury duty. He was there, and it cracks me up is that now he's like a Hollywood celebrity. He was like in a fitted, like kind of hip suit around, like surrounded by people. He had like a trimmed up beard, and he just signed a 2-year, I think, first look deal potentially with Amazon to create new projects. And I was like, dude, every project they greenlight, it should just be a prank on Ronald. Ronald should develop a movie, and they're like, sure, buddy, let's do that. And then it's just another prank on Ronald. That should be the whole first look deal. But he's like a Hollywood mover and shaker now. And I was like, this is wild. Like by next year, he's going to be completely burnt out and just on the, I don't know. I can't, I thought that was so Hollywood. I met a lot of podcasters, and Amy Phillips. I got to talk to her for a while. We talked for a long time, actually. I love Amy Phillips. Her podcast, Drama Darling, is out, and it's amazing. I think she's going to come on the show in 2024, and maybe me on hers. But I think she is just so damn talented. Donna Bowling from I think it's Daily Dish with Donna. I call her Dana. I was just told that her name's Donna, and I feel like a jerk because I've been calling her Dana because she spells her name like Dana. Donna, if you're listening, let's go to Donna. I know that's probably not how you've spelt it your entire life, but I just feel, just for me, just for my thick elephant brain, I really hope we can change the spelling of your name. Just so then, of course, Justin Martindale. I'm trying to think who else that I know I'm missing out huge pieces of it, but those things are funny. Like I got immediately sweaty when I got there because it's like when I get into an environment that I get nervous, my body turns to water, and then I got over that, and then it was all systems go. Bravo Breaking News was there, Bravo Betch was there, Kiki Monique Talk of Shame was there, and it's awesome always to get to hang with them. Talked to Jeff Lewis a little bit. Jeff brought his daughter for the first hour, Monroe, and that was very cute. What a darling, cute child. Oh, I just really, when I said darling child, I was like, oh, that's just sounds horrible coming out of my mouth. I swear to God, I'm starting to talk, and you guys have noticed this over the course of this past year. I've started to talk like an 80-year-old man. I'm like, here's a Werther's original. You're a darling young person. But it was great, man. Got a gift bag on the way out, man. That's what I've been to, like a couple of events in this last month, and I'm new to gift bags. But these gift bags, you guys, there's like real stuff in them. There is real stuff in these gift bags, and so I'm just like, how do I? This is great. I can re-gift a lot. Hey, Dad, guess who's getting a 6-month subscription to Audible.com? You are. But they had kind of drinks, games, and a DJ. Kelly Dodd and her husband Rick were there. Kelly was talking with Vicky and Shannon a lot, I noticed. Who else? I'm trying to think if there was no real dirt. It was like actually just a really fun time. And then Justin and a bunch of people were like keeping the party going. But I was like, dude, I have work to do. I had to put out the Salt Lake recap. I'd finished it, but I still had to upload it and watch Beverly Hills last night. I don't know why I'm just giving you a personal diary. I'll give you a timestamp where you can start the Beverly Hills recap. But they kept going. But I just, I have to work every day. And as much as I want to like go out and like just get crazy, the party itself was amazing. Fortune Feimster was there. I got to meet her. That was awesome. I think she is so funny. I know I'm leaving out huge swaths of people that I met and had conversations with. I had a really delightful conversation with Carney Wilson, who's on Jeff's channel a lot. And she's just, we all know her, of course, from Wilson Phillips, but she's had such an insane career. And she's just a really lovely person to talk to. And it seems like she's one of those people that kind of knows a little about everything and seems like such an empathetic person. And I thought, and for her to even know who I am, you got to understand though, I was a kid when like Hold On came out, and that was such a banner cassette tape that all of us kids owned. And for her to like say my name, and I know this sounds, I know this sounds weird, but you got to see, like, that's such a trip. Like I had that Wilson Phillips cassette tape, and I remember them being at the top of MTV music videos, and I just thought little Ryan would freak out. And that's what somebody said this the other day about it. It's like my life is turning into this gigantic Make-A-Wish. Even though I work really hard, it's in those situations you're kind of just, your mind is blown. But I was thinking about it in terms of Housewives because I was watching Dorit, and I was thinking like Dorit's having such a weird season in the sense of, I think the fans truly love Dorit, and then sometimes storylines will, either, even raise you higher or kind of lower you. And then there'll be rumors of like, is she going to be demoted? Blah, blah, blah. And Dorit is at such a weird point in her career. And I just wonder with all Housewives, I think you get into this pipeline of this kind of level of success in terms of reality television but you want more. Like, it's like, I wonder what Dorit wants at this point, like where she's headed. Because the lifespan of a housewife, some of them last forever, like Kyle Richards, but then some of them you can come and go like a flash of the pan. And like, it depends on how many brand deals you get, but like, you always got to be kind of looking for that next thing. And what is that next thing for Dorit? Like, how do you actually put a housewife's career and make it more? I mean, do you start a podcast? It seems like the podcast market is completely flooded at this point. Like, how do you get to that next level? Because I was just thinking about last night, it's like all of these kind of cool things are happening, but I still want more. And I don't mean in like this, like power hungry kind of thing, but I'm like, yeah, let's put the pedal to the metal. Let's go. Let's see what else I can do. Let's see, And I was just thinking about that in terms of housewives of like, I wonder if that starts creating problems for them when they just kind of get power hungry. I'm not saying Dorit is power hungry at all, but you see it in somebody like, what's her name? She used to be on Housewives and now she seems to be losing it on. Oh, Lisa Rinna. What's up, Ryan? I hear you're bringing me up again on your show. I love any and all publicity. So she'll show up to the opening of an envelope right now, but she's going to a lot of big fashion shows, which sometimes they take care of your travel and all that, but you still have to pay a little bit of money. And I just imagine Lisa is now having to work harder than she's ever worked in her life to kind of catapult past the housewives not bringing her back. Now, Lisa was able to leave of her own accord, but at the same time, Bravo and Andy were very much like, yeah, I think that's the right move. And then she tried to get back on the show and they were like, no, we liked your first idea better. So now she's kind of doing these interviews of like, Lisa, what was your favorite thing that you did this year? What was the best thing? And she's like, leaving Housewives. And I just think that's such a bad look, a dumb look. And just from a business perspective, idiotic when you say something like that, because in 5 years they'll have her back. But if she continues to badmouth them, there's no need to bring her back. You don't need that like cyclone of negativity. And we see this a lot with Bethany Frankel, which I would imagine in the next 6 months, if not sooner, you will see a podcast interview with Lisa Rinna and Bethany Frankel. I feel like that's a no-brainer. In fact, I would imagine Bethany's been begging her to come on. Like, I just feel like the time is right. When they start talking shit about Bravo in the press and start seeming really ungrateful, I'm like, that's Bethany. That's called chum in the water. Bethany can spell that shit. They're like, what does that smell? Oh, it's Lisa Rinna saying something bad. Lisa Rinna saying something bad about Bravo. Let's get her on. But she now has to do like so much work in terms of just personal styling, something that's going to jump scare you every time you open up. You're like, oh my God, your hair, you dyed it so black, And, she's got her daughters always kind of lurking over there. It's like weird because Lisa kind of leans on her daughters now for that TikTok crowd, but also they lean on her. It's a very symbiotic yin yang relationship. I just find it really, sometimes it bums me out because I'm just like, I wonder if Lisa, like, now there's somebody that I think really wants the world. There's like a power hungry element. And I also think there's like kind of an ungrateful element, like we talked about yesterday, when they were talking about Ariana being in Chicago, the musical on Broadway. And then Lisa Rinna was like, I did it before I was affiliated with Bravo. Like she left a comment on a post like complimenting all of the Bravo celebrities that have been in Chicago. And Lisa needed to point out. And then somebody, I think it was Rex Reed on Twitter, said, pulled up a review of Lisa Rinna from Chicago and said it was horrible. And I was like, girl, just be grateful your name is being mentioned. Like, I just don't understand the constant negativity that you need to continue with. But also it just cracks me up the fact that she has to like try different looks each time. But she's at an interesting point too, because like the Real Housewives fans, we like appreciate Rinna, like I can still say like, oh my God, she has so many iconic moments on Housewives. I'm not delusional. But I can also say really a lot of horrible moments that I thought kind of just didn't fit in with the show at all at a certain point. But she's at that interesting place where enough people know her from the show. Like the Bravo fans appreciate her, but are also like, girl, you are a little cringe at times. But she has enough fame where people that don't know her and don't watch Bravo go, wow, she must be really popular on Bravo. So she's able to kind of book these things in the year after, because most of these advertising companies and things, they're not like true fans of Housewives. They just look at people who are talking about people. They're like, oh, Lisa's name seems to be in the news a lot. We should add her to the list. And I just wonder how long that's going to go for. And as you pivot into this kind of different character archetype of being that person that is known just for being famous, but also the one that's going to dress up weird. You know, like now all of a sudden you're the carrot top where you're like, you have to do a whole new expensive look for each thing. So people keep talking about you, good or bad. You got to get the big old weird sunglasses. Your hair's probably falling out because you're dyeing it so many different colors. And you're in that thing where now you are kind of this elite version of somebody that's on Hollywood Squares, just showing up at everything to keep your name and your image out there. But what does that lead to? She had the American Horror Story thing, which people said she did very good in. She does know her way around a camera. I just wonder that, I don't know. I'm very curious to watch Lisa Rinna's career in the next year. And let me know what you guys think about this as well. Okay, 25. Oh, that's pretty good. That's what we usually do on here. Just 25 minutes in, we start. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This episode is called Dazed and Accused, season 13, episode 7. Now that, of course, is a play on Dazed and Confused. Truly one of the best. I love Dazed and Confused, that movie. Very, very special. All right. I keep getting older. These girls stay the same age. All right. Or whatever that fucking line is. But that is a very pothead friendly movie. And of course, we are at a THC dinner, and then Sutton pulls out a joint. So perfectly titled episode. Also, as always, I want to thank Juliana Carrozza, who takes notes on these. She's such an amazing note taker, and it just allows me to let my mind go free and think weird thoughts like Sutton, selling dime bags of weed around high schools. Like, those are the things I think when I know I have good notes, and then I can just watch the show and my mind just kind of goes off and thinks of weird scenarios. And we'll dip into those weird scenarios, as we always do, throughout the course of this recap. Also, I am so mad at Denise Richards. Like, listen, if you are going to come back on this show in any capacity, what did I say? I said, you better come correct, because these ladies, like the way you left, you cannot have a couple of drinks or a whole tub full of bathtub gin before you show up to these things. What is that? Like, listen, I want to root for you, but help me help you. I'm fully Jerry Maguiring right now. It's like you come, you're like, you know what you did. Yeah. Eric. Like, I was like, you have one shot, one opportunity, as Eminem says. Mom spaghetti, and you come like that? You come all like, girl, don't give people reasons to laugh at you. Please, my God, you used to be married to Charlie Sheen. You know this better than anybody else in the world. And that, like, at one point I was like, wait, does Denise think Erica's Lisa Rinna? I was like, wait, help. And she didn't even eat the THC stuff. Like, my God, like, she was on, like, for a THC party, Denise abstaining from it, but still being the highest one at the table. How is that? Like, my God. Like, when shit like that happens, these other ladies, like Dorit's like, whoo, oh my God, beep boop, 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 Denise. Like, it was wild. I just don't understand. I don't know if it was nerves, like if you were just pounding them going into this situation, but like, how do you come to this point in your life and still make that big of a mistake when you're going to be mic'd up with cameras? Like, what is I was so frustrated with it. Did you guys feel the same way, or did you just enjoy it? Okay, so this is the summary of this episode. As the weed dinner continues, Kyle and Sutton's friendship seems to go up in smoke. Garcelle and Crystal's struggle. Kyle and Sutton's friendship seems to go up in smoke. The ganja, stand up for your rights. By the way, also Bravo did this subtly amazing thing. If you turn up the volume during the weed party in certain of Sutton's, they had light reggae music playing. It was like dung, 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 it was so dumb. I loved it so much. They did like a Bravo Housewives version of like stoner music. All of a sudden they're playing Sublime, like trucking, trucking. The only thing they didn't do, and thank God they didn't, I thought they were going to do like those stupid editing things where they make it like an acid trip or something, you know, and like do all the colors of a kaleidoscope or something. So, anyways, their friendship seems to go up in smoke, weed reference. Garcelle and Crystal struggle to make sense of Denise's showdown with Erica. Listen, I'm still trying to make sense of that, okay? And Dorit schools PK on their children's future, which is a great turn of phrase too, because the children's future is about their schooling. So Dorit schools, loving whoever wrote this. I got whoever wrote this over at Bravo did a great summary this week. And then Kyle turns to sister Kim for advice. Kim Richards returns to Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and we find out that she is coloring on her own walls. That's right, folks. Kim does not have access to paper and is now doing beautiful artwork. I mean, truly, actually, really beautiful artwork, but she's coloring directly on her walls. And that was a huge no-no for me. I got in trouble when I was 8 for doing that on my wall from my mom. So I just can't imagine how that even... You know what? I just want everybody to be happy. Previously on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we get a collection of scenes from the past couple of episodes. And PK, it's like, here she is, there she is. And we have Dorit appearing as Pretty Woman, red dress, remember, at the hotel for their anniversary celebration surprise. You remember that when they had the Berlin, like, take my breath away, even though that song isn't from Pretty Woman soundtrack. PK's like, you look amazing. And Dorit's like, I'm not my best yet, PK. And PK's like, I definitely struggle to understand the putsta thing, the PTSD. PK, I feel like it's interesting that this is their storyline for the season, is the PK not understanding the trauma that Dorit has been through. I find that interesting in a different way that I find the Kyle and Mauricio relationship, which is just kind of a non-facing of it, even though the other cast members are trying to bring it on, especially Sutton, as a storyline. But the Dorit PK stuff is, I feel like this was agreed on beforehand, but it's interesting. Of like, yeah, I'll come off like a prick. I'll tell them I don't understand your pain and your putsta, and you gotta pick it up. I'm eating bags of crisps in the kitchen, and I need you to be okay. And then we have a scene of Erica of like, I want to be back on stage. I want to be making new music. And Erica's publicist, Alexis, is like, wait, you make music? No. Erica's publicist goes, yeah, I can make some calls and see. Like, do I need a publicist that can just make some calls and see? And then Erica's like, yeah, if there's any interest. And Erica's publicist is like, or even if they'll take a meeting. And then we have a scene with Kyle and Sutton where Kyle's like, you just seemed off, like odd. I don't know what it is. And Sutton's like, well, maybe I think something's off with you, I say. And Sutton and a talking head go, well, the news is Mauricio may be having an affair, I say. Now, my big bone to pick with this entire episode is that we don't have Morgan Wade. How do you give us Morgan Wade in this past episode last week, and she crushes it? We get to see this amazing, flirtatious, fun, flirty friendship, live, laugh, loving, all the way to the tattoo parlor, and we don't follow it up. Like, listen, I needed a phone call at least. I'm like, what are you doing? It's me, Morgan. How's your THC party going? I got a lot of comments about my Morgan. She stalked me. By the way, I might just go ahead and do the scenes from last week with Morgan again, because those were so fun. She stalked me. Oh, last night when I was at that Jeff Lewis party, you guys, I was taking a piss and I was hey, we talk like bros. I slipped out my Jimmy and I was taking a whiz. And I checked my phone, and Kyle Richards, like, I made this meme last week about like a fully tattooed man, and I said Kyle by the end of the season. And then Kyle Richards, like a week later, last night, liked it and went like something like LOL. And I was like, Kyle! I wrote back immediately. It's one of those, and I was thinking about this too. Like, there are some housewives that I just don't like, right? But I do want to say that if you are a housewife, I already kind of just baseline like you or appreciate you in some form, right? But then there are housewives I just don't like at all. They're like, I just don't want to talk to him. But Kyle is that kind of housewife that I disagree with certain things about Kyle, but I still really like Kyle. But I also am going to be honest about Kyle through what we get access to, the information that we get access to. And then, of course, I'll speculate. And that's what I do. But I still, man, I would love to interview Kyle at some point. I don't think she would ever be able to. I mean, I think she's too big to do the show, obviously. But also, I don't know. Like, those are the things too, as you interview some of these people, like they can't go to the places that you want them to go because you want to just ask real questions and go, what is it like? How, I mean, like, tell me about the feelings. And also we talked about on Monday's episode or Tuesday's episode about Kyle's friend, trigger warning, talking about taking her own life, which Kyle's now talked about, but I want that more on the show. And why wasn't that brought up the show sooner? Because it's a perfect example of why certain behaviors are exhibiting, why you're acting certain ways, because you are dealing with huge life shakeups like your friend. I would love to talk to Kyle, but it's interesting because Kyle only knows me from making kind of stupid memes about her. Like I did the Wayne and Garth meme where her and Morgan looked like Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World. And I just imagine if she has any awareness, she's like, oh God, that guy's a shit. What a little shit that guy is. And I'm like, no, I'm a big shit. Anyways, we pick back up at Kyle's TCA THC CBD dinner party. They've got it all. And also we had Denise and Camille arriving. They are the special guests. And we have these herb chef Chris, and he's like, it's a 5-course meal, optionally infused with cannabis. And Erica screams, I want to feel something, but I don't want to see like lights. And I'm like, what do you love seeing lights? I'm a showman. I'm the greatest showman. I want to pat the puss. I want everybody to watch me pat the puss. Sutton in the scene is like, my ex-husband, Kyle, is leaving the country, I say. And Kyle's like, I'm not saying it's not a situation you can't be sad over. I'm saying I think it's an excuse. And Sutton's like, well, what's your excuse? Yeah, I'm going to turn it right back around on you, chump. And Sutton at the dinner table is like, is there something going on in your personal life, I say, that you would like to share? And then Anne-Marie, the new lady, who I'm like, let's ease in, Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie's like, what? She kind of did this high pitch of like, what, though? And then Garcelle immediately goes, her marriage. Because Sutton was dancing around it. Sutton does, like, she's like an awkward, even though she's on the board of a ballet foundation, very klutzy on her feet in terms of bringing topics onto the show. So she's like a little heavy-handed about it. And then Garcelle last week finally goes, her marriage. No taglines this week. We don't have time for taglines. The show picks up at that weed dinner party, and Garcelle's like, Kyle, what's with the new band? The ring. Like, we're all paying attention to jewelry nonstop. And Son's like, yeah, you haven't been wearing your wedding ring. Kyle's like, right, it's in the bank. And this is me too. I'm like, wait a sec. I can like deposit jewelry at like Wells Fargo. And I know it probably means a safe deposit box, but I think I am going to go to Wells Fargo this weekend and try to drop off my Apple Watch and go, hey, could you store, hey, I'm going back to Arizona for the holidays. Could you guys keep a hold of my Apple Watch and this pinky ring that got passed down to me from my great grandfather? I just want to see what they say. Like, is there a deposit? Can I put it in like an envelope in a deposit box? So Kyle's like, yeah, it's in the bank. And Son's like, well, you know, all of these things kind of add up. And Kyle's like, so this is what you're lost about, that I had a different ring on that I bought myself. And Erica immediately chimes in. She's like, hell, I didn't wear mine for years. All my jewelry's in a very private bank, so those greedy victims can't get nothing. And Garcelle's like, well, was it a makeup band, Kyle? And Kyle's like, a makeup band? So what you're saying is my husband cheated on me. And she blurts it out and like looks around, everybody's looking around the table, and Son's like, did I say that? Kind of like, did I do that? The family man. Did I say that? And Kyle's like, you want my husband to have cheated and bought me that band? And Eric's like, whoa. And Son's like, well, I'm happy. I'm content with all of your answers, I'll say. And I love also the Sutton and Garcelle team up. There is this element. Do you guys notice it? Like there is this good cop, bad cop, or bad cop with Sutton and Garcelle, so much so that I wish there would be like a buddy. Like I wish at this point we would just put Kyle in an interrogation room and Sutton's like, well, you don't want to get my partner Garcelle upset because I'm what they call nice. I like to tap dance around the issues. I say, but Garcelle, she gets mad and she'll just come in and tell you what's what. I would love that. Anyways, and Faye Resnick, the morally reprehensible Faye Resnick, pipes up and says, but that's weird when you say that. That feels wrong. And Kyle's like, I don't say what's wrong with you if I'm going through a hard time and exercising and not drinking, because guess what? Even if I have 2 glasses of wine, the next day I feel down and depressed. I can't afford to feel depressed right now. And there's a huge pause. And then she goes, okay, I don't want to feel depressed. Like really energetic all of a sudden. And I mean, on its face, I totally get that, right? Like she's making, and especially if you factor her friend and stuff, it's like she can't go down a dark path. But that's hard when you have to film a show like Housewives, and also to be ignorant to the fact that, of course, they're going to try to pull in your marriage issues on this show. Of course they are. You spent 13 seasons on this show. You know this better than anybody else. Denise quietly goes, what's going on? What's going on right now? Like she's on a different, I don't even think she truly knows who any of these ladies at the table are. She's just like on her facial reactions and like her, like, it looks like she's having like Bell's palsy issues at a certain point. Like it's just so weird and unfortunate. And I hate this for her because I wanted her return to be somewhat victorious, but not this way. And Garcelle quietly, after Denise says this, goes, girl. And then Kyle goes, my friends like Faye, we've had conversations like this. And Son's like, well, maybe we're not as good of friends as I thought. I'll say. And this is what I talked about all week, is these friendships on Housewives. Yes, it's not as good of a friendship as you thought. Are you kidding me? Like Sutton, do not think these are real friendships. Like these are show friendships for the most part. I mean, some of them have, are actual friendships, but you know what I'm saying? Why would you think that with Kyle ever? And Kyle's like, okay, well, I don't think a friend would ask like that. And Sutton is like, in that room back there, that was very quiet, I say, referring to the conversation she had with Kyle last week. And Kyle's like, that was at your house. And now we get something that is going to be beat into death all season, 2 weeks earlier at Sutton's. And we have the infamous name 'em scene once again, where Kyle's like, you have the habit of losing your shit in ridiculous circumstances too. Name 'em. That was, name 'em. Well, what you name them? It was ridiculous. Name them. No, name them. Well, be quiet. I said name them. Let me talk. Jesus. We come back to this scene and Sutton's like, well, I had a lot going on. And then Kyle condescendingly goes, I know. And Sutton's like, well, and I'm sorry for that. I say, I'm sorry how you reacted as well. And this is when Santos, Sutton's horse, just bursts in of like, I heard the call. Nee. Santos, no, I told you I'd give you the signal when I need you to come and stomp out. I'm just having a quiet conversation with Kyle right now, Santos. Please, go eat some carrots in the backyard. I'll say. So, sorry. We get a flashback again to Sutton's kitchen where Kyle flippantly stands up. It's like, I hope you're well. I am. And we'll talk another time. And Kyle stomping out. And then in this scene, Kyle sarcastically says, well, thank you for apologizing on my behalf. And Sutton's like, you're welcome. And then Kyle mumbles, okay, anyway. And it's really tense. And at this point, I was praying for Erica to be like, did I do that? Yeah, like something to break the tension. Like I wish there had just been like a just gigantic fart rip through there because it is so tense. Now food is being served, the weed food, and Kyle has a very bitchy face on right now. She's like, "What is this we're having?" Server's like, "The chef will be right out." And the chef appears. He's like, "Hey, so sorry to interrupt. This is a sunchoke. It's a Jerusalem artichoke with hollandaise sauce, dates, syrup, harissa, and a little bit of tomato concasse, I don't know, in there." And Anne-Marie bites and she's like, oh, this is really good. And also, I just would love if every THC dish, it's like not actually infused. It's just a huge chunk of weed. Like, oh, it's all of these, and then you just see a huge weed piece right in the middle with like a stem, like the whole thing. And Garcelle goes, Anne Marie, I want to know more about you. And I was like, I don't. And Anne Marie goes, well, what would you like to know? And Erica interrupts and rifles on, how tall are you? What do you weigh? Do you have kids? And Anne Marie's like, I'm 5'9", 160, married, 4 kids. Wow. And then Kyle's still steaming from the Sutton conversation. Have you gotten any gifts lately? And Anne Marie's like, I mean, not those kind of gifts, talking about the jewelry. Just kidding, just kidding. And they all laugh like this is hysterical. And Kyle's like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, bullshit, Kyle. Kyle, don't bullshit a bullshitter. We know that guys do stupid things and then buy gifts. God, if still thinking we missed on that with Sandoval. Ariana made it to like, I wonder, like, dude, I bought you a new microphone, dude, because I know you love the thing, Ariana. Please take me back, dude. So Kyle says, but what I want to know is, did he say, I cheated on you, here's a gift to Garcelle? And Garcelle's like, oh, he bought the gift afterwards to sort of like lure me back after you knew. Yeah. And then Justin, Kyle's friend, is like, so Garcelle, you didn't have it. I had no clue. Not one inkling. I thought I won the lotto on husbands. I really did. I have now grown to believe that he is a great dad and a horrible husband. But life continues after divorce. And Erica's like, yeah. By the way, I do want to point out, Erica is not even divorced from Tom Girardi still. So, and I don't believe they were truly kind of like living as a quote unquote married couple during their marriage. So I do find it interesting when Erica tries to glom onto an idea of like, yeah, that's exactly, we tried couples counseling. We tried, like, can you imagine Tom Girardi in couples counseling of like, I want to tell you a story about John Wayne. Sir, we're here to talk about your marriage. John comes into my house. I'm 16 years old. Like, he always tells everybody the damn John Wayne story. Anyways, Cynthia Bailey, I forgot she was there. Cynthia fucking Bailey is there. And Cynthia's like, there is life after divorce. But I also think there's something to be said about being able to be just single for a while. And Eric goes, I agree. And so I wish Erica was completely honest with who she's hooked up with since, who she's gotten certain monies from. I mean, come on. Cynthia goes, I feel like everyone at this table can have a man. And I was like, Cynthia, or a woman. She stalked me. Come on, let's speak up for the ladies as well. And Erica's like, oh, Lord. And Cynthia goes, what I love is when I see relationships where you have a true partnership. You know what I mean? That's what's special. I mean, I think she kind of like Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. So Erica goes, this is great, you guys. And you can tell the weed is starting to work because Erica is getting looser in a good way, actually. Erica goes, I want one good love affair, And I was like, God, you already have one, Erica. Your love affair with the stage, with the audience. I love the way Erica speaks about entertainment. It's just, the transfer of energy. And Denise is like, you really haven't had one? Denise's voice is so weirdly hoarse. And Erica very loudly goes, I want one of those things you see in the movies where you just can't be a pawn and like, oh my gosh, we must be together, like romantic, and you do all these things. And she's like doing like jazz hands in the air after every word. She's so high. But wouldn't it be great? It's like, I want it like the movies, like that one movie where they were tracking down that guy and then loved it so much and then her head wound up in the box in the end. Erica, you talking about Seven? Yeah, like Seven. Yeah, like Seven. That was romantic. American Jane. Or that one movie where the girl goes to Vegas and then she like eats a cheeseburger really fast and then she gets a job and she ends up her titties on stage and she fucks in a swimming pool. You talking about Showgirls? Yeah, that's so romantic. That's so romantic. It's amazing. I want love like that. Sorry. Sutton in a talking head goes, Erica, Erica, you had a love affair like in the movies. It's Harold and Maude, only in reverse, which will probably be eventually made into a Lifetime movie or something like that. Now, if you guys don't know, Harold and Maude actually is a beautiful movie, I believe, made in the late 70s. About a young boy that falls in love with like a grandmotherly kind of type character, but it's a really kind of beautiful movie. I don't know if that movie, I mean, that movie could be made today, I guess, but it just would be considered like, oh my God, disgusting, which I still want to tell you my thoughts on that movie, May December, with Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. I watched on Netflix this week. I want to talk about that still. I thought this was great. Also, is there a way in fucking hell that Erica Jane has seen Harold and Maude? Like, I just wonder, I worry about that. This is not even funny, but I do worry about like the history of film. And then are people seeing like what I consider classic still? Or like, how much of the Bravo audience even is aware of what Harold and Maude is? Because I thought that was great. They even flash a photo of a young Erica when she and Tom first met. And then we get a flashback to a scene that we saw in an earlier season. Oh, no, that's not at this point. Sorry. Then we cut back to this scene and Denise is talking to the chef. She's like, what do you think? Are you single? And the chef's like, I'm not single. You're married? Yeah. And then Denise to Camille goes, poor bastard. And Erica's like, I don't want to play games in a relationship. I don't care whether you're rich or poor, rich, bro. And that's when you know Erica's fucking high as a kite. Like, wait, Erica all of a sudden like, I don't care. I've never cared about money. Yeah, no way. Not me, Erica Jane. And Anne Marie yelled because Justin's like making faces. I think we were all Justin in the scene because Justin was like, what? And Anne Marie's like, Justin, stop it. And Dorit's like, wait a minute, Beeble Bobby Boo Boo. Did you just say you don't care if they're rich or poor? And Erica's like, what I'm saying is you have a love affair with someone. That's what I'm talking about. Not like an arrangement again. So she's kind of now pushing this narrative. I love when people push a narrative after the fact that there was an arrangement with Tom Girardi. And Eric and I talking head, you go, Tom was very established and had his own life for many years, and I was fit into his life. And this is when we see the flashback to 2015. The LA chief of police is just hanging out in a restaurant and comes up to Tom and Erica. And, this is what I love about, your tax dollars at work. Like, policemen are just coming up in full uniform at a fancy restaurant. And Erica's like, what are you doing? And the chief's like, well, I'm just having lunch with the lady. I think he says a lady, not the lady. And I was like, that's also creepy too. Like, he's like on duty. He's just like showing up to a fancy restaurant, having lunch with a lady in a corner. And the chief's like, well, I saw you guys in here and I thought I'd say hi. And Erica's like, nice. And then the chief's like, well, enjoy your lunch. And Erica's like, thank you. Erica continues in a talking head. And I don't want to do that again. I want to carve out my own life and have someone meet me and let's go forward together. It would be truly amazing if she's now in like a full bloom romance. Like, they shop at the Dollar Tree, kind of a trailer element. Like, I would. And I just don't think this is realistic or what Erica wants at all. But I think it sounds nice. And Dorit goes, Denise! And Denise is like, what? She's like, just like her face, she's leaning at weird angles. And Dorit's like, how does it feel to be with the group? It's been so long. Beep boop, beep boop, boop, boop. And Denise, that weird strangled chicken voice, she's like, yeah. You know what? It's so nice. It's nice. It's really nice. And Camille kind of sits back and takes notes of Denise's behavior, and probably why Camille stayed so quiet throughout the episode of it. She was like, oh, fuck. Like, this couldn't have been good for Camille's IBS, by the way. And Denise like, it really is. And Dorit's like, did you miss everyone? And Denise like, I did. And Garcelle's like, everyone? And Erica cackles like, and Denise is like, everyone, I do have a question for you. And she points to Erica, and Garcelle's like, oh. And Denise goes, why you treated me a certain way after I met you. And I mean, I could say this about me and you and I. The first time I met you, you were so sweet and so lovely. And there's like a big pause on Denise, and Erica's just squinting her eyes at Denise, kind of like, what the fuck did I just eat? Like, what is happening here? We get a flashback to 2018 at Butter, Love, and Hard Work with the girls, and Erica's like, Denise, how'd you meet Aaron? And Denise is like, so I met, like, totally normal voice. So I met him at this center, and we had at his center, and we had sex in one of the rooms. Which also, I just think about, like, doesn't Aaron do obviously alternative medicine, but still, like, if I go to your alternative medicine spot, Aaron, I'm gonna have to, like, potentially sit on semen of some sort. Like, what the fuck? Like, honestly, that's your place of work, and, like, people are sitting down, and I know it's alternative medicine. Does that mean, like, jizz? Like, what does alternative medicine mean? Like, you, and also he's like, what? I love that I was completely frustrated. I was like, whoa. And she's like, we had sex in one of his rooms. And Erica's like, I heard that you and Aaron having sex is right up there with my favorite porn. And they all laugh back then. But Denise continues in this scene and goes, and then a year later was a different dynamic. And Erica's like, Denise. And she does that, cold, just kind of straightforward dialogue that Erica does. She's like, Denise, I don't feel anything personal towards you. I know that. And meanwhile, the ladies are being served another course, chicken with truffle mussolini and pressed spinach, giant hunk of weed. And Denise like, no, you know what I'm talking about. And she's like just slithering. It's so bizarre. I wish I could do this imitation. And Eric's like, no, I don't. And Denise's like, well, I'm asking you, what did I do to you? Dorit, we have a shot of her taking a big bite. And then Eric is like, can you tell me what it is, though? Because I'm not clear. And Kyle, now we have a shot of her taking a big bite. And we're all just confused here at the table. And Denise is like, well, I'll be very clear. You were so kind to me. And I was like, oh my God, she's so sweet. She's so lovely. Da, 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 da. And then when I came to do my and then she goes, sorry, you guys, I have such a bad cold. You know when you're fucked up, though. Like, when you start talking and you get into a fourth sentence and you, like, are aware that people are staring at you in a different way. Like, I've been in those situations where, like, I need to excuse myself. In fact, I had one of those situations. I've talked about this multiple, like, at the Roni premiere party in New York. I, like, was shit canned hammered, and I had been drinking a lot during the premiere party. Tracy Morrissey, I remember, and Tessera Galley as well, gave us like an edible. And then we went to the Regency, where Harry Dubin hangs out, and I pounded like 2 gigantic martinis. And I was so shit canned. In fact, like, I just remember, like, all of a sudden, like, I was like, it was Spin City, and I had to excuse myself. It was bad. It was very, very bad. But like, you get to a point where you do become aware. And I just wonder if Denise ever became fully aware and said, this is not a good scene, especially when there are cameras there. Eric in a talking head goes, well, I'm high, but I don't know what she is. She's on another level. And I wish they had cut to, they should cut to that scene when Harry Met Sally, where that lady in the diner's like, I'll have what she's having, after Meg Ryan has like that gigantic orgasmic display at the sandwich shop. I mean, that's kind of what this is, because I'm sure they were all like, damn, what is she on? So then Garcelle is like, Denise is slurring her words a little bit. Maybe Denise had a drink, just before she came because she was nervous. And Dorit in a talking head's like, I don't know what Denise is partaking in, but I kind of want some of that right now. Beep boop, bop, beep boop. I love Dorit commenting on the wastedness of Denise. And in this, like, she has one of those hairstyles that looks like somebody completely stoned comes up with, of like, let's put like, it looks like 30 curlers and just make it like on the right side of her head, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. In the scene, Denise is like, you were very different towards me. And Son's like, well, what happened with Erica's mood? And Kyle's like, what's the specific moment that bothered you the most, Denise? And Denise is like, oh, come on, guys. We're grown-ass adults, and you know what I'm talking about. And Eric's like, no, I don't. I really don't. I'm sorry. Really? Yeah. Really? And Denise is like, you really don't? And Eric's like, I'm sorry, I don't remember. What are you talking about? I'm just, and this is like a perfect stoner conversation, though, of like, it really is. And Denise is like, well, I don't know what to say. And Garcel's like, oh, Denise is just staring at Erica and kind of like wagging her chin. Like it's the movement is even really bizarre. Sutton in a talking head's like, well, come on, Denise, you can say it. What exactly did Erica do to you? I say. And Denise is like, okay. And Erica's like, is there something specific that you're pointing out, or is it just like a whole thing? And Denise is like, a whole thing. Justin, by the way, looks riveted. Could you imagine this is what I wish VR reality headsets were for. I would love to just be sitting there in this moment. I mean, aren't those the best / worst when you're at some kind of function and somebody's completely losing their shit and you know they've had too much and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to watch this, but I'm really scared at the same time. And Kyle's like, do you have an example? And Eric's like, yeah, can you give me an example? He's like, I don't need to give an example. Go watch the show. Watch the show. That's your example. Watch the show. This is when I feel like one of the ladies at the table should have been bravo, bravo, fucking bravo. We should have called an audible, stop this whole thing, and been like, yeah, Denise, why the fuck didn't you say bravo, 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 fucking bravo? I need out of here. And Eric's like, wait, what's happening? And Denise like, if you need to take a second, watch the show and then come back and do this. Fucking great. And Garcel's like, oh, I would love if they did stop this and make Erica go back and watch 3 seasons and then come back to this dinner. Crystal in a talking head is like, this weed dinner is kicking in right now. Denise, what are you? And she's laughing. She's like, Denise, what are you talking about? Watch the show. What show? What? And then Crystal keeps going, what, bitch? What? And this is when they start playing the reggae music, the reggae tone, like dun, 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 dun. Now Denise is like, the first time I met you, you were so sweet, Erica, and then a year later, it was a different dynamic. What did I do? You know what I'm talking about. No, I don't. I really don't. I'm sorry. And then she goes, really? Her voice, Denise's voice goes, really? And it cracks. Now, Crystal just losing her shit. Faye is covering her face with her hand, trying to hide her laughing. Kyle sneering around the table. Everyone's just staring at Denise, and Denise is staring at Erica. Now, Garcelle in a talking head goes, who is this Erica? She's as cool as a cucumber. She's not lunging at Denise. The old Erica would be like, bitch, what are you on? First off, Erica's high, and second off, she doesn't fucking have Mr. Numbnuts, Lisa Rinna. I don't know why I called Lisa Rinna Mr. Numbnuts, Mrs. Numbnuts, there to kind of egg her on, because Lisa would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about, Denise? What are you? I'm going to eat you up right now for a storyline. Erica goes, would you like to say what I did? And Garcelle goes, please say it. And Denise goes, I don't even know how to explain it. And Garcelle's like, just do it. And Denise's like, I was so fucking nice to you. Okay. And you were a bitch to me, Erica. Okay. And you know it. I do? Okay. Just own it. Own what? Truly a great question. Erica's like, I don't own anything. I've hidden it all for those greedy victims. And Denise is like, that. And everyone is leaning in on this back and forth between them. Erica and a talking head goes, I am so confused and high. We're having a good time, and you're ruining my high. I have no idea what you're talking about, and neither do you. Now, Denise is looking at Erica like she's almost growling. She's like, Rrr. It's like primal. And Erica's like, okay, Denise, I apologize to you, Thank you. You're welcome. She goes, thank you, you're welcome. We're all stumped. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Chef Chris is leaning at the door, and he's like, dude, Denise Richards is fucked up. This is the Downton Abbey I want to see. Holy fuck, what is Denise on? Hey, what did you serve, Randy? How much weed did you put? She's not eating it. What? She's not even eating the shit we made? I thought she got her hands on some bad ganja, man. Faye breaks the ice and goes, hey, remember O.J. Simpson? No, she goes, this is an amazing dinner. I'm obsessed. And Cynthia's like, and I think I'm high. And Eric's like, you feel something. And Justin's like, I feel it. And Erica's like, yeah, I really feel it. And Sutton now, this is the Sutton. I Sutton, Sutton, as she's known to do. No, she's not. Sutton decides to pull a joint out of her purse. And Chris, the herb chef, is like, hey, is that a joint over there? Amazing. And Eric's like, she's got to line up at the table. And they do it like a tight shot of the joint. And I was like, what is going on? And someone's like, well, I'm sorry. I was told I could. And Garcelle's like, oh, laughing. And Eric's like, excuse me, your girlfriend. And Sutton draws on the joint like, it's like, I say, I'm just gonna get a little spiritual right now. I say, yeah, I'm just smoking a little of the good stuff, yeah. And Sutton's like, well, Kyle said I could. And Garcelle goes, in the house. Wow, Sutton Strack. Now, Dorit, of course, now she's fanning her face. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh no, what if they test me for drugs? Ooh. And Sutton's like, well, this is totally legal. It is funny, though, because we, of course, Crystal makes this point in a second, is that Sutton is such a contradiction. I love her so much because, we just had her at the Magic Mike where she wore, hump pants so she can get humped on. And then she left that offended that she didn't get humped on, but she said, well, listen, I'm on the American Ballet Federation. I say, this is completely unbecoming for me to get thrusted upon with wieners and balls at a Magic Mike show. But now she's like the American Ballet, they're like, we fucking hate dicks and rubbing up on people, but we love weed. So Son's like, wait, this is totally legal. And Eric's like, hitting the trees right at the fucking table. And Faye's like, oh no, I cannot. I cough every single time. I'm like, okay, sure, Faye. And Eric's like, I just thought you'd never pull out a joint. I'm sorry. And Crystal in a talking head goes, I love my girl Sutton, but she is a walking contradiction. Over here, she's like smoking a joint, and in Vegas, she can't even deal with a few half-naked men. And we again flash back to that Magic Mike scene, the perfect moment of the scene where Erica spread eagle, and the guy is doing like space work, oral sex on her. And I hate Erica Jane's face in this so much because she's like, it's like supposed to be kind of fun. And in the scene, she's like, yeah, what that clit? Yeah, get in there, get down on that mop, pat my puss with your tongue. She looks like she's so into it. And we have that scene of Sutton walking out of like, I cannot. I'm on the board of the American Ballet Foundation. I don't do that. Crystal in her talking head goes, that's Sutton. And Sutton in this scene is like, there are some things about me that you all don't know. Y'all don't know sometimes. There are some things about good old Sutton. Now, I think this would be kind of a weirdly baller move if Sutton doesn't usually carry a joint in her purse and she was just trying to like create a moment, which would be kind of amazing because then just you see the weed just like knock her out like, whoa, oh shit, well, I'm seeing fucking stars. I need to eat a pizza and watch the third season of the OC right now. I don't know what's happening. I truly, usually you can see like moments coming, and I just didn't see this moment coming at all. And I'm also just the audacity of lighting up in the house with the cameras. I really, truly want to know what Sutton was thinking overall. Like, she had to have been, I just love, but Sutton, obviously, just a woman of the world. She just truly said, I smoke the ganja. What you want to call it? The ganja, the reefer, give me a blunt. Hey, happy 420. And, give me a little of that green, that bang, and we'll have a tea party. I say, a little hashish, a bud, a dope, a blaze. Gonna marry Jane, let's smoke some trees. I say, pot, grass, herb, chronic, Aunt Mary, joint, woolly, smoke weed every day. I say, Sutton is down with all of that stuff. Sutton gets the best greens, right? Everybody knows that. So Erica goes, okay. Now they serve a chocolate torte with strawberry sorbet and chocolate sable. And Kyle's like, and the dessert does not have THC. It only has CBD. I get so confused on THC, CBD, all, like LVP. It's like, okay, cool. And Dorit's like, honey, the THC is in the air. And Erica goes like, ha, 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 ha. And then Garcelle's like, well, I'm going to go to the restroom. Whatever you do, don't say anything really juicy without me. And Sutton gets up to go with Garcelle. Sutton's like, well, after I smoke weed, I got to take a big old shit. And Denise gets up as well. But well, the ladies get stopped by Denise, and Denise is like, can I talk to you privately? Because I don't know what to say about this. And Garcelle yells for Sutton to come, and Sutton's like, well, I'm coming. Sutton, Denise, and Kyle leave the dining room area, and they're walking down the hall, passing a windowless opening into another room that contains the bar. And Denise, still awkwardly throwing her hands out toward, it's like, whoa, this too. Well, come here. Kyle gives her non-friend Sutton a weird look about Denise's kooky behavior. When I feel like Kyle could give her a weird look at just about busting out a joint at the dinner table, Kyle in a talking head goes, I do not understand what's going on with Denise. I haven't seen her eat a lot of this weed-infused food, and it doesn't seem like she's drinking that much. And Garcelle's like, what happened? And Denise starts, she's like, and Garcelle's like, did something else happen? And Denise is whispering, she's like, how the fuck does she not understand? In regards to Erica. Kyle in a talking head continues, either she partaked before she got here this evening. I don't understand what's happening. I always love the talking heads where they act clueless. Like, I don't know how somebody could get like that. Yeah, man, she overdrank, or there's a lot of elements at play here. Garcelle goes, Erica felt like a deer in headlights, Denise. I don't think she really understood. Oh, she did. Okay. She's a fucking dumb fuck, Denise says. And Garcelle's like, oh, damn. Okay. And Denise is like, she is. And Sutton's like, what? She's a dumb fuck. And Garcelle's like, dumb fuck. And Sutton's like, oh, okie dokie. I'll say. And Denise's like, we all knew. She fucking knew. And Sutton's laughing and like, oh God, oh God. And then Sutton in a talking head goes, well, sometimes Denise can't say exactly what she means when she needs to say it, And Sutton's like, well, you don't know what you're talking about, Denise. And Denise is like, are you joking? Sutton in a talking head goes, but she's Denise, who fucking cares? If I were Denise Richards, I'd be walking around naked, drinking tequila, slurring my words. I don't even like tequila, but that's what I'd be doing. I mean, some might argue she's already actually doing that, just sans nudity. It would be great at the next dinner from hell. Son's like, well, pardon me while I fully disrobe. Yeah, let me introduce you to my beaver. This is Princess Sutton, I call her. I'm going to smoke weed and drink a little tequila. I'm going to ride home on Santos, just bareback, just naked, floating in the wind. My name's Sutton Strack. I got a pound of good Colombian weed, and I'm just going down to Snoop's studio. I say, and just, we'll get correct. So, oh, Santos. The ladies have all migrated to the bar area, and Garcelle's like, who's high? Raise your hand. And Cynthia's like, I. And Camille's like, me too. Oh, forgot you were here, Camille. And Cynthia's like, well, but not high. And then Dorit scoots up to Denise. Is this on backwards? Because Denise has this furry, fluffy pink jacket thing, and it's obviously backwards. But Denise, Dorit, don't help out right now. Denise is like, no, backwards. And Dorit's feeling around the collar for a clothing tag. Are you sure? It's upside down? And Denise is like, no. And they showed Dorit hugging Denise in the jacket 2 hours earlier, and it looks like 8 inches longer in the back than it does now. And Dorit whispers, I think it's upside down. And Denise is like, is yours upside down? And Dorit's like, mine? And Dorit's like, fuck no. What are you talking about? And Denise's like, don't do this, Dorit. Don't do this. I know what you're doing. Don't do this. But I will say, in Denise's defense, fucked up, yeah, but also she does not trust these women. She had a horrible experience on Housewives, and this is why it's such a shame that Lisa Rinna, because the real conversation that needs to be had is between Lisa Rinna and Denise. But she truly doesn't trust these women. Denise did not know what she signed up for when she signed up for this. And I think Denise lives her life in a very different bubble than the way we live our lives. So you can just tell she is just on her heels, which maybe that's why I led her to getting wasted before she got there. But it progressively happened, because when we saw her last week's episode, she was loose, but she wasn't like this. And Dorit goes, I swear, I think your jacket is upside down. And Denise is like, no, stop it. I know what you're doing. And Dorit kind of leans in and whispers, she's like, about your jacket? And Denise is like, I don't give a flying ass fuck about a jacket. And Dorit whispers, okay, well, it's upside down. And he's like, stop it. Don't do this. What am I doing, Denise? What am I doing? What am I doing? And this is amazing, because if Denise is like a little stone, you do this when you that time when you're like in your like teens or your 20s, when weed was actually like, it was like still like, oh my god, like let's get together and get like stoned, man. And you would do those parties, and then like the people that were really stoned, I used to do this thing. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you would be like holding a box that wasn't there, and you'd be like, I've got a box. And then you would do space work. And when I put it over my head, and then you would stop talking, but you would keep your lips moving because it would mess with them. And then you'd be like, and then you would open like a spacework door in the box that's over their head, and you'd be like, don't worry, there's a door. And then you would close the door and go back to just like moving your lips without sound. And they'd be like, oh man, stop it, man. Stop messing with me, dude. And it's kind of like that with Dorit right here. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Like, I almost thought at some point Denise was like, shut the fuck up, and like push her. And Dorit in the talking head goes, maybe Denise is onto something, and in 2 years, we'll all be wearing upside down jackets. And it'll be the hottest trend. But right now, it's a hard no for me. And Denise is staring Dorit down, and Dorit goes, okay. And Kyle interjects, everything okay? And Denise is like, I'm gonna head out. And Kyle's like, you're gonna head out? Like, kind of like, what? We're just getting going. I'll walk you out. And Denise is like, it's almost 11. And Kyle's like, I'll walk you. And Drew goes, bye. Erica and Crystal sit down to Kiki on the sofa, and Erica's like, sit with me, Crystal. We look like primary colors. Because they're wearing like primary color dresses. And they're high. And Kyle walks Denise out, and Kyle's like, you seem better now? And Denise is like, oh my God, it's probably worse. Probably waking up to the fact that she completely face planted this scene. And then Erica and then goes, did Denise leave? And Chris is like, all good? Yeah, all good. Denise is outside of the car, and Denise is like, she's such a fucking asshole. I never did anything to her. And Crystal and we're like flip-flopping scenes. So now we go back in with Crystal and Erica, and Crystal's like, well, you apologize in the end. And Erica's like, but I also don't really quite know what I'm apologizing for. It did kind of ruin my buzz, though. I love this. By the way, we can thank Erica's therapist of like, you be so proud of me. I apologized the other day. Don't even know what it's for. Just said sorry. And yeah, I feel good. I don't even know if it is a feeling, but I think I feel good. Denise is in the car getting buckled in, and yeah, let's buckle her in. Let's get her strapped down. And Kyle's like, bye. And then inside the house, Dorit's like, okay then, well. And Sutton's like, well, it's like the house of horrors here today. I still am now just watching Sutton, because Sutton doesn't seem like out of her mind. Like, what if Sutton's like one of those people that can smoke a massive amount? Well, I'm one of those, what they call wake and bake. I got a 6-foot graphite bong that I smoke out of. I got a vaporizer where what it does, it burns the weed, and then it just gets a lot of smoke, and I just suck that in, and then I go play with Santos. Play with Santos. I'm going to hotbox Santos. Hey, Santos, come on, go Sutton's garage right here. I'm going to close this door, and I'm going to smoke out of this 6-foot graphite bong, Santos. You're going to feel things that your horsey head never imagined, I swear. On Halloween, Sutton's giving out weed. Yeah. Oh, mom, I just got a package of edibles over at this lady's house down the street. Yeah. Well, you just don't. Everybody just take one. Don't be greedy. I went to one of my favorite weed stores. I got a lot of just single roll joints and a lot of edibles. And make sure you tell, these are 5 milligrams. It's gonna be, it's gonna be a light trip. Nothing to worry about. Tell your parents. So Erica goes, you can always count on somebody around here to ruin your good time. And Crystal laughs. I do want to point out every one of these ladies has had not this weird of a scene, but remember last season, was it last season or the season before, where Erica was like shit canned on that yacht? When she's like, I'm going to take a nail now. Like she like pissed on the couch upstairs. Oh, I do. I'll play this at the end, I think, because there is this great after show now on, if you watch on Peacock, there's like a 24-minute after show they just started doing with interviews with the ladies about this episode. And I think they'll do that in the future as well. But it's like 24 minutes of them talking about these scenes in different like matchups. Like I think it was like Erica and Kyle, and Anne-Marie was by herself. And then it was like Sutton and Garcelle. But it kind of adds, if you have Peacock, I really do recommend it. So Anne-Marie is still there, the newbie, and Anne-Marie's like, Sutton, are you a night owl? Well, I wake up at 6, I'll say. And Anne-Marie's like, I wake up at 4:30. It's not a contest, Anne-Marie. And Garcelle's like, she works out. And Anne-Marie's like, so my husband literally sleeps for like 4 hours a night. Dude, I am so envious of humans that can do that. It's like a gene or something. I wish if I could get some kind of surgery to add that gene, I would love that. And Son's like, well, Martha Stewart said 4 hours. She also went to prison. I'll say, I love that that is a little stoner behavior of like, Martha Stewart said 4 hours of sleep. Well, she also went to prison. And Dorit's like, how are you feeling, Kyle? That was intense. And Kyle's like, I know. Well, that's not a fucking friend. That's not cool. I know. I think they're talking about Sutton. And this is the point I would have put in the show. Kyle going like, I gotta go do touch-ups on makeup. I'll be right back. And then her sneaking to the bathroom. I'm like, Morgan, it's me, Kyle. I miss you. I miss you so much. Oh my God. Kyle. Oh, Morgan, you're going to be so proud of me. Guess you didn't eat any of the THC. Oh, Kyle, it's me, Morgan. I'm so happy and proud of you. 'Cause we live a sober lifestyle and we like to work out. I'm proud of you. I know. I just wanted to tell you I've been thinking about you all night at dinner. I love you. Bye. Oh, do you hang up? No, you. I'm gonna you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up. Dorit whispers to Kyle so she doesn't get caught. When you guys came back, I was like, where's Kyle? And she's like, Sutton, she's like, in denial somewhere. And Kyle drops her mouth open like, oh my God, I can't believe they're talking about me. We get a flashback to that dinner table where Sutton's like, well, she's in denial about something. And Dorit made that like, zoinks. Oh no, she didn't about my friend. And Kyle like immediately, Sutton, what am I in denial about? Her dress. Kyle's dress is so weird. Like I said, like it's like that Charlotte Russe kind of prom dress thing. Everyone stops to listen to this conversation. Son's like, well, I don't know what you're in denial about. Kyle's like, well, if you know something, please tell me. And Son's like, oh my God, what would I know? I'll say. And Kyle's like, I would love, that's what I'm asking you. Well, I don't know anything, Kyle. Well, if you're saying that I'm in denial, you're implying you know something. Well, it seems to me that you are. And Kyle's like, either you said it or you didn't. It's very simple. Well, yeah, it seems you're in denial about something. And Erica's like, insanity. And Kyle's like, so if you have something that you know, well, if you don't have anything to tell us, Kyle, I would like you. Well, I don't know anything. I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to smoke my weed. I'm going to let it go. And Kyle's like, quit trying to gaslight me. You... Let's fucking stop using. Quit trying to gaslight me. You're triggering me. You went in there. So I said it while I was sitting at the table. My God, I say. Guys yells, wherever you said it, I don't care if you were standing on your fucking head. And Dorit goes, zoinks. And then Sutton's like, well, we all know I can't stand on my head. Erica, Crystal, and Anne-Marie crack up. I just love, well, come on. There's a lot of things you know about good old Sutton Strat. I love ballet. owner of a couple minor league baseball teams, right? Okay. I love to ride dick riding pants. You know, I love that. I love arts. I love to smoke massive amounts of weed. I love my ocean spray grapefruit juice. Sutton love that. And another big fact about Sutton, I'm not good at standing on my fucking head. Yep, I cannot stand on my head. We all know that. I tried it, Magic Mike. I was like, hey, does it help if I can't stand on my head? If you're gonna make me stand on my head, I'd love to get humped on, but if you're gonna ask me go all sudden to stand on my head, I gotta bow out. I'll say. Kyle, talking real slow, goes, if you have something that you know about, please share. And so like, well, I don't have anything that I know about. And Dorit's like, but in denial of what? Well, that's the question. That's $1 million question, Dorit. And Garcella's looking at Sutton like, oh no, just like Denise, here we go. And so like, well, that's the question. I asked her about her household, about her marriage, and Kyle now is screaming aggressively at her and pacing all over the room. What is wrong with my household? What is wrong with my house? Well, I'll tell you one thing. You don't open your mail, Kyle. It's just a pigsty with that mail. And by the way, which... Sorry. Dorit goes, what about her household, Dorit? What about her household, Sutton? And Sutton's like, is there something going on? Sutton in the talking head goes, Kyle is in denial about something going on with her marriage. Personally, I think Kyle's unhappy. People's marriages, they ebb and flow, and maybe there's no flow right now. It's someone says that she doesn't want to talk about, and Kyle doesn't like to talk about personal things. Yeah, I mean, we know about that through 13 seasons of the show, right? Bam. Here's what I think also is at play here. This is one of those delicate dances you see on Housewives sometime where Kyle is fishing for I know you know something now, Sutton. What do you know exactly? Tell me. And I also think Sutton does know something specific, not even just the headlines. And I think Kathy might have fed Sutton some kind of piece of information of some sort. So Sutton is kind of clumsily trying to get this onto the show. Well, these are what other housewives do. I want to do a little bit of a Lisa Rinna here and try to get my way. I'm not going to say I want to try to be delicate, but she's not being delicate. I want to try to get this on the show and see what I can get Kyle to admit, because I know. But Kyle, on the other hand, knows that Sutton knows something and is like, tell me, what do you know? Come on. And that's why she's so aggressive. So it's not what we see on the screen, but it's like the underneath of it all. You know, the subtext of this. And I kind of find that fascinating if you watch it through that lens. So Amory follows Kyle to the kitchen and Kyle's like, she does this, doesn't even make sense. And Amory's like, it makes no sense. And Kyle's like, but I get so frustrated that I keep losing my shit because I get so frustrated. Of course, trying to like ingratiate the new girl of Sutton's a bad person, blah, blah, blah. She's just crazy. And Erica enters the kitchen like, I want to eat. No, Erica's like, it's not fair to you, Kyle, and I don't think it's just not fair. And Kyle's like, and what is with the fucking household? Sutton enters the kitchen. Is like, what? Come on, Kyle, will you just listen to me for 2 seconds? I trust what you just told me. There's nothing going on, I guess. There's nothing to be worried about, I'll say. And Kyle's like, I didn't say there's nothing going on. I told you at the retreat things haven't been amazing, which makes it even worse that you would do this shit. It's weird. It's not weird. It's what the show is about. Like, it's not weird. And we get a flashback to Eagle Woman Retreat from episode 1 where Kyle's like, we have gone through bad times, of course, just like anybody. And it's been a very rough past year. And Eagle Woman's like, thank you so much for sharing, Kyle. And Kyle in this scene is like, if I was really going through a hard time with that, this certainly would not be the way I approach my friend. But this is a show. And Amory's like, agreed. Oh, Amory, pipe down. Sutton's dress, by the way, also is, or whatever she's wearing the top, it is so sparkly that it's like triggering a seizure in me when I watch this. It's like it shines on, like, you would catch an angle and be like, boo-doo. It would be like just pop in your eyes and it would like shine in the camera. Garcelle to Kyle goes, well, do you think there's something going on with her? Meaning going on with Sutton. And Kyle's like, I told her. I said, I didn't know if this was her first drink or your fifth, or if it was your medicine for your foot. And so now Kyle has revealed that Sutton is on foot meds. Now we're getting to the real storyline. Wait, you're telling me Sutton's got gangrene? And Sutton is like, well, I take gabapentin. Yeah, I'll take gabapentin at night when I go to bed. you're going to tell everybody I don't eat? Because she brought that up of like, Sutton like moving around food. I do want to say, because gabapentin sound really familiar to me. And I went and I found that this is I have a prescription for gabapentin. And I was just joking about this with Amy Phillips last night, because when my mom was dying, or this was like the week she died, I talked to my psychiatrist and I was not doing bad. I was doing bad and I was not sleeping and I was still doing the show. And I was like, yo, I'm not doing well. I need something, And I was like, I'm already on Lexapro. And I have a trazodone prescription, but that trazodone kind of makes me like, once you fall asleep, you stay asleep with trazodone, I found, but it kind of makes me a little like, I just, it's like waking up from like Tylenol PM. It's like I'm a little drowsy. So I was like, can you prescribe me something? And I didn't say like Xanax or something, but I think that's what I was like looking for, because I just needed something to relax me, because I couldn't relax. I'd never felt that kind of tension. And I remember my sister, that Friday that my mom died, and that morning she was like, dude, you look like shit. And my sister's a nurse and she took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was like bad. And she's like, if we don't get this down, we got to worry about you. And so I remember my psychiatrist was like, well, I can't do anything, because I was like, it's just, and I was on it. I was like, it hurts right now. I'm going through so much. And my like, I love, like, some people have psychiatrists that are like, yeah, tell me what you need. This psychiatrist is like, well, it's supposed to hurt. You're supposed to feel bad, which he's dead on right. I am supposed to feel bad, but my mom died, and that she was dying at the time. But he's like, listen, I could do like sleep. Then he said, well, there is this. It's kind of like a nerve medication, and it's gabapentin. And he prescribed me this, and it didn't do jack shit for me. And then I looked it up, and it was like for nerve pain. So I was like, I don't have nerve pain. I don't even know why I don't have I got a full bottle of this stuff because it didn't do diddly squat for me. But I just cracked up because I was like, oh my God, me and Sutton are twins. We're gabapentin twins. Anyways, Kyle's like, well, you don't eat, Sutton. And Sutton's like, well, yes, I do. I do eat, Kyle. Kyle's like, I've seen you push it around on the plate and say you have some disorder where you choke and can't eat your food. And so now another revelation gets brought up. So we are like gloves off, when now it's almost like she's trying to draw Sutton out. Like, give me that information. I'm going to fucking hit you 2 times with personal information on camera. But also this is horrible. Like, this is like the way Sutton's going about it might seem weird, but she's not revealing facts the way that, I mean, this is low in a sense. And I will now joke about it. Sutton's like, well, see, now you're going to make fun. Really, is something that is wrong with me. Now, Sutton in a talking head. Oh my goodness. Sutton is just my favorite. Sutton is like, in a talking show, my esophagus disorder is not something to be made fun of. I say, I can't eat certain foods. I've been down for 4 days, not being able to swallow my own saliva. So sorry, Sutton. I'm so. And here's my friend making fun of me. What's going on in your life, Kyle? You're not drinking. Why? Why? Yeah. What's your problem that you're not drinking? What is the problem? Did you drink too much? I don't call you out on that shit. Why are you calling me out? This poor fucking Sutton can't even swallow saliva. Like, no wonder. I'm so sorry, because I know it's a real disorder. But like, Sutton goes through so much. I got a gangrene foot. I haven't been able to swallow liquids or my own saliva. I'm basically dying. Oh, Sutton, I'm going to need to update my will. You're going to meet my executor, my beautiful, beautiful maned horse, Santos, with your big old horse eyes. Help me, Santos. Help me. I can't swallow. Kyle has this like vicious smirk on her face, and she's like, and Sutton's like, I'm sick of fighting with you, Kyle. I really am. And Kyle's like, me too. And Sutton's like, you've already lost 2 sisters. You want to lose a 3rd? And Dorit's like, oh shit. Oh, no, you didn't. People, Bobby, boom, boom, boom. And Kyle's like, oh, really? Now, this was extremely low from Sutton, and it is also kind of a peek inside that Sutton really does view these as real friendships. And Sutton has gone to the point where she feels she's a third sister to Kyle. And there has never been a moment where I've ever felt there's been any kind of sister vibes, because Kyle doesn't respect Sutton, just flat out. And so this was wild to say because it's wildly not true, but also mean to say because that's where you can get Kyle all the time, is that relationship with Kathy. It's her Achilles heel, one of them. And Kyle's, Erica's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Kyle's like, go fuck yourself. And Erica to Sutton's like, wow, don't do that. And Sutton's like, well, you're being really mean. You're really being mean, I'll say. And Kyle shoves her finger in Sutton's face. Because you know why? Go fuck yourself. Because you know the truth. You've had your own situations with her and you don't want to speak up. Now they're talking about Kathy. Kathy is now in the conversation. Sutton's like, I'll tell everybody what Kathy did. And Kyle gets very animated because that's in public. But when you want to play that game with me, well, I'm not kissing. Oh, well, this is about Kathy. Kathy. And Kyle screams, you just made it about that. And Sutton's like, wait, are you telling me Kathy Hilton is your sister? You have two different last names. How can that possibly be? No. Sutton's like, well, I'll tell everybody what happened then. Kathy did not like that I did not stick up for her in the press, I say. And they flashed to Sutton being interviewed, by the way, by Lauren Herbert from Access Hollywood and Housewives Nightcap. Lauren was just on this podcast on Wednesday. This is an interview from BravoCon 2022 where Lauren's like, do you believe Kathy or do you believe Lisa? And Sutton's like, well, I think there's somewhere in the middle. That's where the answer truly lies. And Sutton continues in this scene. So she called me and said, she yelled at me. And I told Kyle, I said, I see what you experienced. I felt it firsthand. And Kyle's like, yeah, but you were real quiet that day when we were all together last time, weren't you? And we flash back to that day being the 2022 reunion and Kyle crying like a baby. He's like, I need to end up in a better place here with Kathy, my sister, than when we came. And Andy's like, okay, well, then I would like to try to do that. And Kathy's like, I don't know. And Kyle's like, because of what? Tell me. I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm asking you. Kyle, I don't want to talk about it. And Kyle stomps out of the kitchen in this scene and mutters, I need everyone to leave. Morgan, I need you right now. What's going on? Sutton just said something so rude. It's okay, Kyle. How's your tattoo healing, Kyle? I would love, God, more Morgan Wade, please, Bravo. What are you sitting on? But this is interesting. And I've always told you, and especially after watching Paris in Love Season 2 this past weekend, which you guys need to check out, the Kathy of it all, you do not mess with Kathy, dude. Kathy is an operator. Kathy is behind the scenes pulling strings. Like I mean, it really is wild. And Rinna, you numbnut, dude. The fact that you did fuck with Kathy, like, you're going to be wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rinna, you blew it. You kind of blew it in certain ways. So Erica in a talking head goes, some woman in this group fear Kathy because she holds the access to something they want. She can lock you out of Beverly Hills or lock you out of parties or lock you out of social standing. And Sutton's like, I'm not kissing Kathy's ass. We have a relationship. We have a friendship. Erica continues in a talking head, I've always been the rogue. I've always been the lone wolf on the outside. So I don't really care if I get invited to any of your Christmas parties or if I'm not on your list. Okay, great. Perfect. We're all in agreement. I always love when Erica doesn't like, I'm a lone wolf. Yeah. I'm El Solo Lobo. I'm hunting. Get my prey. Erica, you're so phony baloney. It's so funny. Yeah, like, oh, I don't care, blah, 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 blah. Okay, yeah. You did care. You lived a life of very much caring. Flashback again to that 2022 reunion where Erica's like, she said the DJ's an old fucking beep and walked off. That's what she said to me. Kathy's like, no, never, ever. Anyone who knows me knows I don't talk like that. And Erica's like, and anyone that knows me knows I'm not lying. Well, their lead ladies are both lying in this scene. Erica, you have lied and you definitely have lied. And Kathy, like I said at the time during those recaps, that so long ago now, but I do believe Kathy did probably say so. I do believe Kathy said something like that to the DJ, even though she is very supportive of, gay rights. I do believe she said some stupid ass shit, I especially if you watch Kathy on Paris, like Kathy says some wild shit. I don't think any of us are surprised by any of that. Erica continues in the talking head. We all know Sutton likes a good old socialization situation. I mean, that is the way it is. I don't think it's like that she likes a good old socialization situation. I believe that's what she was like kind of born into, and what her marriage and her money and her, like, it's all based around that. It's like that's her full-time job. So it's not her chasing that. Like, we can name 10 celebrities right now that chase that kind of shit, chase that kind of invite, Rinna being one of them. But Sutton is just one of those people. This is what I do. I have money. I just get invited to these things. I say, I love it. I'm a socialite. Erica walks out of the kitchen and follows Kyle. And Sutton's like, well, I think we can go now. And Dorit's like, okie dokie. Huh, I think it's time to go. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And Erica to Kyle goes like, I'm sorry. Kyle's like, that's fine. I'm your friend. I'm sorry. Anything I can do. I don't think there's anything wrong with your marriage. First off, you're an idiot then. Like, even Kyle said there's something wrong with her. Like, Erica's like taking it 3 steps. I think you guys are great. You're solid as a rock. And Kyle goes, I said it's not great right now. It's really not. It's not perfect. I don't know what else to tell you. And Sutton and Cynthia are leaving, and Sutton's like, well, that was a buzzkill. I mean, I love it. He's like, I just pulled a joint out, and then they get all buzzkilly. Like, I need to go continue my high. Back to the scene with Erica. Erica's like, I mean, that's just not okay. And that sister shit was low. Because you've worked. I know how hard that hurts. You worked on that. And Kyle's like, it's not even my doing. Back to outside, and Cynthia, who I keep forgetting is there, goes, it was going good. Then it was going bad. Then it was kind of going good. And then it got bad again. And she guides Sutton into her car, and the rest of the guests are calling out, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And then Erica to Kyle's like, thank you. Call me if you need me, Kyle. And that's what we call empathy. Yeah. You be so proud of me, Doc. I basically lied to my friend, said her marriage was great, even though I know it fucking isn't. And then I said, like, call me. But I'm not going to answer. Baby steps, right? At least I offer. That's empathy. Did I do right? This is a good example of empathy. So, Erica, this is great. If you look at that storyline of her, being taught what empathy is, she is now being able to put that in action. That's why therapy is good for everybody. But in terms of the story, yeah, we're seeing that little bit of change in Erica. Kyle wraps up the evening with asking her help in the kitchen if they've heard the conversation. And they're like, oh, no. They asked Kyle if she was okay and said they loved her. Because at the end of the day, that's what you have is the love of your staff. And Kyle's like, good night. Love you guys. And she kind of like slowly walks up the staircase. It kind of was a sad shot for me. I know it was just like a throwaway shot of her, but it was just like, because, Mauricio's probably out of town. Like, and she's just kind of lumbering to bed. I wonder like how soon she texted or called Morgan afterwards. What's going on? How did tonight go? Anyways, great dinner. Loved it. The people that are saying, it was great. That was great. Good stuff. Now it's a new day dawning in Beverly Hills, and we're over at Dorit's in the kitchen where Dorit is explaining to 2 women there with her. And we see my favorites, Phoenix and Jagger. And, Phoenix has a little hand like from Wednesday, the thing. Dorit's daughter, Phoenix, 7, is eating her lunch at the kitchen counter with her brother Jagger, 9, while holding Thing in her hand. Very cute. The movie Addams Family and the Netflix show Wednesday. And remember, Phoenix was Wednesday for Halloween, so she was probably just. And also, when you get something weird like that as a kid, you kind of get obsessed with it. You're just like, I'm gonna take this weird hand with me everywhere. Like I had, like in my nephew when he was a baby, he loved the smell of porta potties. I shit you not. So for one Christmas, I bought him a bunch of. His parents did not like this. I bought him a bunch of porta potty like smells, and he loved it. But I appreciate, like, I'm trying to think of the weird shit I was in. Oh, that's right, Housewives. But he loved it. And, Dorit's like, are you doing your best Wednesday right now, Phoenix? And Phoenix is cramming potato chips in her mouth, just like her dad. Hey, you get your love of crisps from me, Phoenix. And Dorit's like, slowly, my love, slowly, please, with your chips, slowly, please. And where should your napkin go? And Phoenix plops it on top of her head and reads like, cheeky monkey, beep boop boop boop. I love in this household. Oh, you're a cheeky little angel, oh, little jagaloo. And Phoenix, oh, you make my insides warm. You make my heart go 3 sizes. Beep boop 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 boop. This lady, the kid's teacher, Mrs. Lepp, goes, everyone's a comedian. And Dorit's like, everyone is a comedian. Very weird filler scene, but I loved seeing the kids. Now we swing over to Erica's pool house, and they show a large bowl of lemons in Erica's kitchen. You thought that last scene was kind of bizarre. This scene, truly bizarre too. Leia, her assistant's like, oh, fancy, like we're at Whole Foods or something. And Eric's like, you want to make lemonade? And Leia makes a face kind of like, we used to do such big things. And Erica's like, I mean, how can we do it? Leia's like, I don't know. Isn't it lemons and sugar? And Erica's holding a lemon the size of a large grapefruit. And she's like, I don't know. Look on the internet. And Leia's like, I don't know. I'm sure we can find. Do we need to go outside and sell it? She says. And Erica goes, you know what? I don't know how to take that. And I think there's kind of a little bit of a scene of like making lemonade out of lemons, maybe like that. Maybe was that like a little message in this of like, we're making do. It was weird. Now we go to Kyle leaving her front door, and she's of course jogging. She's in her Linda Hamilton Terminator 2 all black. She's like, I'm ready for a jog. I'm ready for a jog. Let's do this. And she jogs over to Anne Marie's house. But you see these shots of just, could you imagine driving on the streets of Los Angeles and like, is that Kyle Richards? Like Kelly Ben-Simone, move on over. Kyle Richards, the runner of Los Angeles. Anyway, she gets to Anne Marie's place, and she has another thing where she's like, I'm going to go get the glasses and lemon water. So we just had the fucking lemons over at Erica's, the lemons here. And then Kyle says something that I, always my butt puckers when I hear. She's like, should we play some pickleball? And, Freddie's like, I love pickleball, and Randall Emmett, huge pickleball fan. Pickleball, whoever is the money behind making pickleball this big, it's so interesting to me how that sport is expanding. I've never played it. I would play it. I would. It's so funny how it's so prevalent now in shows. Anyways, Kyle's like, I'm all right. I'm mediocre. I don't even know the rules of pickleball. I just make sure I hit the ball. So they're talking about pickleball for a second, and they give us these kind of bouncing talking heads. Kyle in a talking head goes, Anne Marie and I are both working moms. We have a lot in common. We both are competitive and love to work out. We live right down the street from each other. Fascinating. And Anne Marie in a talking head goes, and we have weird things in common, like my birthday's the same day as her mom's birthday. Oh my God, no wonder you're on the show. What a cool similarity. Like, oh my God, what an amazing fact. Kyle in a talking head goes, she does not care what anybody thinks. She speaks her mind. Anne Marie in a talking head goes, we have the same surgeon. And Kyle in a talking head's like, she's very strong and opinionated, and I love that about her. We're both on anabolic steroids together. Yeah. They walk outside past the pool to the pickleball court, and Kyle's like, this is so nice. I'm scared because you have height on me. I'm only 5'2". And Amory's like, I thought you were taller than that. I have a big personality. And Amory's like, there you go. And they start playing a pickleball game. Amory now tells us her story in a monologue. I'm extremely competitive. Everything I do is kind of innately becomes a competition. I first got into sports when I was 5 years old. I started running like in a sports day at our school. I raced every single grade all the way up to 7th graders, and then I won that too. Then in high school, I started playing basketball. In 1992, I would walk up and down the street to my high school. I would walk up the street to my high school at 6 a.m. The janitor would open up the door for me to the gym, and I would have an empty gym all to myself. That's how I would start every single day of my high school career. There's absolutely no coincidence that I ended up with an NFL player. And we had a shot of Marcellus, her husband, playing with her kids, which you guys should look up her husband, Marcellus Wiley. Some recent events that have gone down that I'm curious to see where they wind up. But I also love this story of, because she's not a professional sports player, but I love the fact that she was like, I woke up every day at high school at 6 a.m. and played sports. And that's why I wound up with my husband, a sports player. Like usually that story ends with, and that's how I got the gold medal in. And she's like, that's how I met a guy who played sports and married him. So that is Anne Marie's story. Kyle's like, that's literally my favorite game these days. Oh, so many things to recap. And Anne Marie's like, I need to get a full rundown. I'm not going to lie. Well, let me just preface this. That's what I like. Your first encounter with all of us. I love Sutton. I really do. I don't know why she's coming for my marriage and in that way and doing that to me. Okay, the Ballad of Kyle, the victim, Kyle. You know exactly why. This is the show. This is what you're dealing with, blah, blah, blah. Also, this whole like, I love Sutton butt thing. You know, we've seen that time and time again in Housewives. Emery says, I don't understand. Like, when we were having dinner, she didn't like want to actually say what it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, she was really like talking in circles and like talking around the issue, which I totally, Emery's completely right. It's what I said. I think she knows something and she's dancing around it, trying to get somebody else to say something. And Kyle's like, but she wanted to throw it out there, but she didn't want to go all the way with it. Garcelle did. And Amber's like, exactly. Kyle in a talking head says, last night was really upsetting for Sutton to throw these accusations at me, and even Garcelle saying things about my marriage when she's gone through something like this so publicly and knowing how hurtful it is. I was really disappointed. So what does that mean, though? Because Garcelle's, what is something like this publicly? Cheating is what Garcelle went through. So are you finally admitting that this is what Mauricio cheated and that you're going through the same thing Garcelle did? So are you saying that? Like, producer, ask a follow-up. Like, this is what we're talking about. Let's get it out. Amory says, I definitely want to get to know Sutton more because I feel like we didn't get too much time to chat. But now we know, even seeing next week's preview, that Amory's going to kind of like antagonize Sutton. So that's probably where this is headed. And Kyle's like, she was too focused on trying to ruin my poor life. Ha. In another part of town, Crystal Sutton are meeting at the Six restaurant for lunch. Garcelle also joins them. And finally, Denise. So everybody's sitting down. Denise finally looks normal, sounds normal. We're back to the old Denise. Garcelle in the talking head goes, this Denise right here looks like she's gliding through the wind. She's calm. She's composed. She looks beautiful. Not like the weed dinner. And the producers do a side-by-side of her today and her at the weed party. It's really, really funny. And Denise is like, how are you girls doing? And the server arrives and they order hot water with lemon. Another scene with fucking lemon. What does it all mean? This is when you know I've gone too deep. I've like recapped too many shows of like, oh my God, the lemon. If they did 3 lemon scenes, it's, that means the apocalypse. This is like the three horsemen of the apocalypse, but it's lemon scenes. Garcelle goes, so the other day I heard a commercial. What's it called? Neuropathy. Because I never heard that word other than from you, Sutton. And they're saying some people are so severe, they amputate. Denise is like, why are you telling her that right now? Crystal in a talking head goes, Garcelle and I haven't even had a sip of my cocktail. And I don't want to talk about her feet. I don't want to talk about the amputation. Thank God Garcelle's not a doctor. Oh, you have a headache? It's probably a brain tumor. And Sutton in the scene goes, well, I'm getting better with my nerves, my gabapentin. You know, they are healing. And Crystal's like, how did that even come up yesterday? And Sutton's like, well, Kyle kind of said, I don't know if it's 1 drink or 5 drinks, and then your foot medication. And Denise is like, Kyle was judging drinking with you? Exactly, Denise Richards. Why? Well, splits and ponytails on the ceiling. And Garcelle goes sweeping the dance floor with her coochie. They flash back to a 2021 party with Kyle, really going for it with the splits, the hair rolling, the whole Kyle Richards bit. Garcelle laughs, goes, well, we've all seen it. Crystal goes, why do you think Kyle points it out to you and not Erica then when she does that? And Sutton's like, well, I don't know, Crystal. And Crystal's like, but I do think, though, I'm going to say this because we're friends, that throwing her sisters in there, that was hard. And Sutton's like, yeah, that was a low blow. And Crystal's like, yeah, I love that Crystal actually does. That's great. Like, it's great when a friend listen, I am your friend. But that was weird. Like, that's a great friend right there. Jumping back to Anne Marie's house, I was like, that was the nail in the coffin, what she said about the sister thing. Because that was designed to hurt. But also you were designed to hurt about bringing up Sutton's esophagus problems and all the, that's also a hurtful thing. Kyle goes, that was her. And I was like, wow, 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 wow. And she makes like the stabbing motion. And Amory's like, yeah, what were you supposed to do with that? Kyle in a talking head goes, I don't know if it's something that's going on with her personally or if she has some issue with me, but I think she needs to stop thinking about my own life and focus on hers. And it's like, Kyle, first off, you know this show better than anybody else. And it's like, no, we need to focus on both. Well, I think we have room for both. And I got to say, really loving the way your storyline's going. I don't know how much farther we can go with foot problems. Well, we did a 4-part reunion and most of it was about my foot problems and me not being able to swallow spit with my esophagus and Santos. Kyle goes, Sutton says she has this thing wrong with her small esophagus. And Amber's like, I'm in healthcare. That's why I'm wondering what it is. And Kyle's like, well, can you live without eating? I can't even believe this is a conversation. And Amber's like, no, of course you can't. And Kyle's like, I'm trying. Kyle's like, well, she said last night, I have a small esophagus. How dare you rat her small esophagus? She has the most beautiful, tiny, dainty, small esophagus, you guys. Sutton's esophagus, it's like the Mona Lisa. I think it's so beautiful. I know Kyle's trying to slam it and make fun of it, but I think it's just the most beautiful esophagus I've ever seen. They flash back to the previous night where Sutton's like, and you know that I have an esophagus, the esophagus, you know that, Kyle. And Kyle's like, I know, you told me that. I love the thought of Kyle just randomly calling Kyle like, well, Kyle, I'm dealing with this lot of stuff. My husband possibly going to London. And of course, I got that the esophagus problem. So I'd love to talk to you for an hour about that. Amory goes, well, I know, but small esophagus, does it hurt when she eats? Does she get like acid reflux when she eats? Does she have like a sphincter issue? And Kyle laughs because she's in the third grade. And Amory goes, no, I'm serious. Does she have like an esophageal sphincter issue or something? I do anesthesia. This is what I do. Like, I'm going to have to ask her this. Well, Amory, yeah, ask her this. Maybe not Kyle. And Kyle's like, I don't know. And Amory in a talking head goes, I'm a nurse anesthesia. Listen, I went to ASU, folks. I don't even know how to say this. And Amory's like, when we put something to sleep for surgery, we put a tube down their throat. So I know airway anatomy. That's my jam. Amazing. And Kyle's like, I don't remember the word sphincter. I thought your sphincter was in your butt. Maritza's like, love bean. Can we have sphincter sex? Love bean. It's been a while since we've had sphincter sex. Please, love bean, please. The tattoos are so hot. I want to do sphincter stuff with you. She laughs because it's insane. And Amory's like, I know there's sphincters in many parts of your body. And Kyle's like, I didn't know that. And Amory's like, there's an esophageal sphincter. Even if your esophagus is small, you chew your food, it goes down your esophagus all mushed up. So why does it matter the size of your esophagus? I mean, you're not a snake. You don't swallow a strawberry and like see it go down your esophagus. And Kyle's like, ha, you're not a snake. I don't know. We're back over at the 6, and Garcelle to Denise goes, how did you feel about Kyle's dinner? And Denise laughs like, oh my God. And Sutton's like, well, you went for Erica. She points like, you went for Erica. And Crystal's like, oh yeah, what was that about? And Denise's like, well, we had a dinner party and they were talking about threesomes with my kids at the other table. And Sutton's like, yeah, your kids were around. Flashback to 2019, this scene where Erica's like, I've never been with a girl. I've been with a couple. So it's like, well, what's the difference? And Eric's like, well, there's a penis and 2 vaginas. And there's a table of young girls next to them, all turn their heads and look. And Chris is like, what the hell? And Garcella's like, so what would you like for her to say? And Denise is like, just to acknowledge it. Just Denise's voice is totally normal. Just acknowledge it. Just to say, you know what? I feel bad about it. I'm really sorry. Otherwise, she's just a mean-ass bitch. And Garcella's like, oh, God. And Denise is like, sorry. And Sutton laughs. I will say this is a weird scene, too, though, but we dealt with that issue. I believe this was already a storyline in 2019, and we kind of dealt with it. So I don't know. Like, I didn't expect it to be this. I thought she truly was lumping Erica in with Rinna, and it was kind of like periphery damage, but I didn't realize it was still this moment. And also, I don't know. So Denise, you kind of lost me again. Another beautiful day in LA brings us back to PK and Dorit's house. And PK's like, Dorit. And she's like, baby, can you bring me a cup of tea, baby? I'm already one step ahead of you. Ha ha ha. Oh, I think I poured a little bit too much milk. Ooh. Bee-boo, bobby, boo-boo. Just tell me if I need to redo it because I know you. Hey, if I made your drink wrong, I wouldn't hear the end of it. Honey, you haven't made my drink right. Ever. In fact, when have you ever made me a drink? Hey, this is actually fine. I like this tea. It's good. It's good. Let's go upstairs, my love. I haven't even, caught you up on Kyle's party. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And he's like, oh, yeah. Hey, how was it? I don't know. Something's definitely going on with Kyle and Mo. She's voiced it, but I haven't spoken to her about it really in detail. And we get a flashback to their car ride together on Pretty Woman Day 3 weeks earlier, and Dorit talking to Kyle, and Dorit's like, how are things with you and Mo? I feel like I needed a little freedom. Freedom and some space. Also, Morgan's code name is Freedom. No, PK's like, I think Mo's very busy at the moment, honey. He's on a global domination track. Yeah, he's trying to dominate that pussy. He's traveling the whole time, and I get it. It's what put pressure on us. And I'm always away a lot. I like PK lumping him. I'm on a global domination track as well. Boy George is blowing up. It's crazy. If Kyle is going through something, just be a good friend to her, Dorit. Oh my God, absolutely. Dorit in the talking head goes, I'm not surprised that Kyle acted so strongly defending her marriage. And they pop that foursome picture up on the screen with Dorit, PK, Kyle, and Mo. Remember, they were like buds. They would like vacation together and shit like that. And I would love to delve more into this with Dorit about feeling like on the outside with Kyle, because Kyle seems like she's pushed a lot of people away, except for like Morgan and a handful of other people. But Dorit is on the outside. And I also think that's because Dorit is on this show. And that has affected things because Kyle's like, I'm not going to really confide because it's also tricky with the PK Mo relationship, you know? So she can't really come clean to Dorit. It's really, if Kyle was like fully honest with all this, it would be the best, most amazing season ever. I've known Kyle a long time. It's clear that something is not right at home. But that's what Kyle to tell. To come at Kyle like Sutton and Garcelle did. Something felt a little bit dirty about it. And Dorit goes, you know, PK, I wanted to talk to you about homeschooling. I was like, that could have gone anywhere. It was like, nope, homeschooling. I want to know how you feel about it. And PK's like, babe, you know my view on this. I brought up 3 kids before I met you. School and mixing with kids and being a whole part of the whole environment is enormously important for their growth. And I would view you keeping them in homeschool until they're 18. Not 18, PK, but I was thinking 14. No. And Dorit and the talking goes, during the pandemic, we decided to homeschool our kids. I've created a classroom. Teachers come to the house. The kids are thriving. They show us Jagger and Phoenix Home's classroom. It's full of homemade artwork. I feel like I could learn in this environment. Do they have any kind of like community college classes at Dorit's house? I would love to take a lesson there of some sort. We get a flashback to a school lesson where a teacher's holding a book and saying like, covers tell you a lot about a book. And little Jagaloo's like, covers are probably the most important part of a book. I was just like, I like the 50 Shades of Grey cover. They have like little ties, and it looks like something you would tie up somebody because the book deals with S&M. Dorit continues in a talking head. They love their teachers. They really do. With the one-on-ones. And Dorit in this scene goes, PK, I'm the one who's with them every single night. When I have expressed that I think it would be good for them to transition back into public school, you have to hear what they say. And PK's like, I understand that. It's really lovely, but it's not also really a consideration for whether or not they stay in homeschool or not. Because I'm saying the school days are the best days in your life. And I don't want those kids to not experience going to school. Do you understand me? So we have to talk about that. And Drew's like, that's true. If you're actually here. Kind of like you're not here enough. But I will say I kind of agree with PK. I mean, the homeschooling looks like it's great, but the socialization aspect, my nephew was homeschooled here and there at times. And I do think that socialization, even, it's so scary to send your kids to school, I would imagine. And just like the thought of them potentially getting bullied or who they're around. I mean, it seems like such a gamble when you think about it and really go down that road. But at the same time, you get so much out of it as well. When I think back of meeting the people and getting involved in musical theater, for me, I mean, it really did change the course of my life. I don't know. It's hard. I can see both sides, but I do think it is important. And Dorit and talking there goes, when PK travels, I feel like a single mom. He's not involved with the kids. He doesn't know their needs. He doesn't deal with teachers. And then just wants to swoop in and tell me what's best for the kids. Dorit now negotiating. What about another year? No, Dorit, I understand you've been through a really traumatic thing with your putster, your PTSD, your putster, and also you have a lot of fear in you that isn't rational. Now, I think we could have found a better way to say all of that, because Dorit looks at him like he's insane. And if I think you're going down the wrong avenue, Dorit, I'm going to tell you. And ladies and gentlemen, may I present Berlin. Take my breath away. You're not thinking rationally. And Dorit in the talking head, very sarcastically, like, thank God PK has all the answers. Don't know what I'd do without him. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And PK's like, I've heard you say to Jagger, when you don't think I'm listening, you say, hey, if you go to college, mom is going to live on the campus and you're not getting married. I've heard you say all those things. And Dorit's like, I didn't say you're not getting married. I didn't say that to Jaggaloo. Point is, a lot of this is coming from your need and desire for those kids to be with you and close to you at all times, right? And you have to at least own that element of this conversation. And Dorit and the talking goes, here we are, almost a year and a half post-home invasion. and he's still not getting the gravity of the situation. And what has happened? I lived a moment where my kids' lives were over. I saw it in my head. That does something to a person, and yet he can't understand. Now, Dorit's right. That's horrifying. Also, PK is not Dorit, and we all have like different reactions to things. PK obviously does not have the same reaction to any of this Dorit does. Some people are blessed that way, that they can move on from like really traumatic events. And also, he wasn't there that night, and he wasn't there the second time either. It just seems like these things happen just to Dorit and not to PK. Weird. But you know, there. Just because you don't feel something and you're not scared of the world in a certain way, you can't then expect your wife to feel the same way you feel, especially when she's the one that went through it. And about Dorit, these kids are everything to her. So it's a really tough situation that I'm sure it is frustrating for PK because he wants to move forward, but the human condition isn't like that. Dorit goes, if there was the slightest element of it that I thought was not good for them, I would change it. What is right for them and what's best for them is always at the forefront of my mind. Always. But it's hard, though, because also at the forefront is Dorit having extreme paranoia and trauma. And, that leads to good decision making, but it can also lead to some not so good decision making. We end that scene and we zoom over to Rocco's on Rocco's WeHo in Santa Monica Boulevard in the middle of Boys Town. And Erica is meeting with Mikey, Erica's creative director. And Mikey's like, hi, how are you? I'm so glad we're here. Mikey's lips, do you notice particularly always look like the lips just got out of the shower? They're always just wet. Like, I'm like, always just like, wipe that shit down, dude. It's like not lip, it's just like wet lips. Like, did you just do a lip shower? And Eric's like, me too. This place must get popping. I was actually at Rocco's last Wednesday after the DirecTV event, and it does get popping. There was like a drag show. It was like a very full. And Mikey's like, it really does get popping. The last time I was here for a Christmas show, which made me think all of the Christmas shows that we did together. And they show a photo of Erica and the dancers posing in front of a tree for a show in 2014 and 2015. And Mikey's like, every venue with a stage on this boulevard. We have slithered through, and I want that back so badly. I feel like this is like the first scene of a like a Disney film where like all of a sudden a genie gets presented of like, how badly do you want it back, Erica? Well, I'm going to grant you 3 wishes. I wish I was back at gay club shoving my puss in men's faces. Anyways, Erica's like, it's time to turn the page. Erica in a talking head goes, I love performing so much. I miss performing. I miss having that connection with the audience. That exchange of energy. Fuck, I'd be like, I didn't know. I didn't sign up for any exchange of energy. I'm just here to watch the show. My God. They show a video clip when all the ladies went to see her show and Kyle's dancing, doing that ponytail twirl. Erica continues in a talking head. The only time I'm truly present in life is when I'm on stage. And the producer goes, the only time in life where you feel present is when you're on stage? Yeah, that. And sex. But good sex, not bad sex. You know what I mean? And she rolls her eyes. Okay, first off, gross. I love the seriousness in which Erica considers herself a performer. It's just, I truly think it's one of those beautiful minds where she's fractured a proper way of thinking, that she is a global superstar and that she is such a insanely good performer. And yeah, but like, go on, do your thing, man. Like, tour it up. Like, honestly, like, great, good, whatever gets you through. Mikey's like, I'm super glad we're getting back to the Erica Jane project, the Pretty Mess project, whatever we're calling it. Erica orders a dirty martini. She's like, no vermouth. Like, you just mean straight vodka? And Mikey orders the same thing. And Mikey's like, but yeah, you need the right room with the right capacity where you can just do your thing and like have a residency. By the way, this scene, they already know they have the fucking Vegas residency. So this is like a bullshit scene. The fucking manager scene from last week, also bullshit. They already know they have this residency. So this is what this is leading up to, the Vegas residency. Erica in a talking head goes, Alexis, my manager has got me a couple meetings with Live Nation. It would be great if like, oh, I thought she just wanted to work at her website, like just sell tickets. No, about a possible residency in Las Vegas. And Erica to Mikey goes, give me a place to live and give me something to do. I'm a performer. Erica continues in a talking head. I've always loved Las Vegas. By the 5th grade, I was like, wow, what's this magical place that was open 24 hours a day? Showgirls, costumes, and money, and all the steak and the lobster. I love that she included the steak and the lobster. And also the 5th grade, little Erica, Muppet baby Erica is like, steak and lobster, yeah, I'm little Erica Jane. Mikey goes, if you could have a show like Crazy Horse Paris, I mean, how long have we talked about that? Years. Creating new music, creating a show, mounting a show, as you know, that's a really big thing. A big thing. It's a tedious thing, but it's the most fun. So rewarding. I'm sorry, there's nothing like that. Eric and I talking head goes, what I love most in life is the pursuit. I'm a hunter by nature, and I always have been. And why wouldn't I hunt the biggest game? I don't want to hunt warthogs. I want to hunt elephants. And I'm not an elephant hunter, so I don't want to hear it, okay? It's all up here. Oh, the way Erica's describing herself this episode cracks me. I'm like Steve Irwin. I hunt the waters. I hunt big game. So overly inflated how she thinks about herself. I want to hunt. I mean, listen, I mean, like, that's manifestation, I guess. I don't know. You know me, I'm a hunter. I hunter be hunting. I'm on camouflage. I like to drop me off in the woods. I can survive. I like Rambo. Yeah. I put like grease paint on my face. I love it. Mikey gives a toast. He's like, to 2023. Here's to you and me. Here's to me and you. Here we go. Wow, they really gave us a lot of olives. They did. They gave like 5 olives on these drinks. Eric is like, they're going to bloat me with all the salt. So yeah, Erica Jane, we're leading up to the Vegas residency, which remember they have like a 2-part docuseries Bravo's releasing, Bet It All on Blonde. And it was like so self-serious. I gotta tell you, I'm really excited to watch that because I love things that take itself way too seriously. And it looks like it does. And I'm like, I am so here for that. And that's why never let people tell you the way in which you enjoy these shows. Enjoy it how you enjoy it. If you want to just take it for what they show you, but if you want to read behind the lines, that's a great way. If you want to laugh at it, that's great. So many great ways to watch these shows. Now, we end this week's episode. We are at Tree People, which is the interest is on Coldwater Canyon in Los Angeles. This scene takes place at Fryman Canyon, which is one of the places I used to hike all the time. In fact, I remember seeing them film a scene, God, for Housewives, probably about 9 or 10 years ago when I was married, actually. And I remember getting early for like a Saturday morning hike and they were filming a scene. I've seen Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin at Fryman. I've seen Steve Martin at Fryman, also in A Real Housewife. No, but I've seen it, but I love that this was at Fryman. It's a beautiful hike. Sometimes not as hard of a hike as I used to like, but it's beautiful. And you actually see some of it in this. And I was really thrilled. Kyle's stretching outside. She's like, hello, I thought I get used to this hair. I thought, who is this cute girl? Because she sees Dorit while stretching. Dorit's like, wait, we're working out? Huh, do you have your wedding band on? So Dorit is a little like kind of putting it out there, but she's also mocking the other women saying that like Sutton, but also kind of like, hey, I haven't forgotten, and I think that's interesting. Dorit is also speculating. And Kyle's like, oh my God. And Dorit's like, I need to make sure, otherwise I'm going to start some rumors, Kyle. I'm wearing a band. I mean, it's so stupid. So how crazy was that the other night? I love it. She's like, I'm wearing a band. But in reality, she's like, yeah, we've already split up. How you doing? Can I hike with you guys? She stopped me. It's me, Morgan Wade. Anyways, they're talking about how insane the other night was. And Kyle's like, I mean, first of all, they were just saying because she saw a ring she's never seen before. Do you know how many pieces of jewelry she hasn't seen? We cut to 2 days earlier at the weed dinner and says like, well, you haven't been wearing your wedding ring. And Kyle's like, right, it's in the bank. My big diamond. And Son's like, well, all these things kind of add up. Now, back in this scene, Dorit's like, I was trying to understand what the hell you were trying to say because the point, it's very clear. When somebody says she's in denial, and I mean, it's very clear. Well, she's suggesting that you're trying to hide something, Kyle. I know. That was a really low blow. That is a low blow. But Dorit's also kind of like, but is it true? Tell me. You can tell me I'm a good friend. And suddenly a voice says, I hear the words low blow. And Dorit's like, Kim! Ladies and gentlemen, Kim Richards runs up and hugs Kyle. And Kim's like, look at you. That is so nice. And they hug for a long moment. And then Kim hugs Dorit. And I will say, Kim was at that Kathy Hilton DirecTV party last week. And there's that one photo of her that, she's just all in black and she like kind of pops out and she's doing these weird poses. And listen, everybody was memeing it and I wanted to as well. And, it's weird. I'm sentimental and sometimes I get overly empathetic about certain people. And I think I'm that way with Kim right now because Kim's, had so many issues through the years and trying to get over so many things. And it was such a funny pose. And I was like, oh my God, I could reuse this image again and again. There were like a mountain of jokes that went through my head when I saw it. Cause like, oh, you could do Babadook jokes and you could do, nightmare fuel and you could do all of these bits with it. But at the same time, I was like, I don't want us all to make fun of her so much that that it throws whatever she's doing that it sets her back. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's such a pussy way of me. Like, I know I should be like, well, fuck that. But no, I don't know. The Kim thing. But I will tell you, there's a couple things in this we'll talk about. But so anyways, Kyle's like, Kim's my relationship is in a good place. She knows that I'm going through a really hard time and she's been very supportive this last year. Now the ladies begin to walk on the hike and Drew's like, what's going on? Grandbabies are here. And Kim's like, that's pretty much it. I really haven't left the house since lockdown. Fortunately for me, I really used the time to work more on myself. Sure. And then, I started coloring and I found, and this is when I was like, wait, what? I'm like, wait, what? You started coloring? And Drew's like, wait, coloring? And I was like, Dorit, that's what I said in my mind. And then Kyle goes, on the walls. And Kim's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, wait, what? On the walls? And Kyle on a talking head goes, Kim went through a really hard time during the pandemic. She was one of those people who did not leave her home. Oh, you mean like how they recommended for us to leave? Kyle's like, I was out a lot. Kyle goes, well, what the heck is that? Kim shows Kyle phone pics of her murals that she's literally coloring on her walls. And I don't know, I don't work at the agency, but I think that's not got to be good for property value. And he was like, what the heck is that? And Kim's like, it's my animals. And it is good. It's good. And Kyle's like, it's actually pretty good, Kim. Like, why do you know how to do this all of a sudden? And Kim's like, I don't know. Kyle and it continues in a talking head. So for me to see her painting and out socializing with people, that makes me happy. It makes me happy too. Kim goes, I really love doing it. And I even said, Kathy, tell Paris if she wants anything on the walls for Phoenix, I will be down to do that. And Dorit's like, yes. Oh, tell Paris I said hi as well. Also, that is fascinating because Paris in Love season 2, they didn't have the baby's room decorated yet because the baby was a surprise for everybody and they didn't want to tip anybody off. But I would have loved a scene with Kim in Paris in Love where she's just coloring the baby's walls. And Kyle's like, have you seen the baby yet, Phoenix? And Kim's like, yeah. And Kyle's like, you did? And she's like, yeah, so cute. You can tell this bothers Kyle a little bit because Kyle has not been able to. We got to a previous unshown scene a month earlier where Kyle goes, I still can't believe I found out through my Instagram that Paris had a baby. And Mo chuckles, I love Bean. That's a little weird, but yeah. That's how deep this relationship thing goes. At the dinner table, also a month previously, we cut to where Kyle's like, so are you guys going to go visit? To her daughters. And Alexia, 26, goes, I don't know, Mom. I have a hard time not doing that with you. It just feels weird to me. And Kyle's like, listen, you guys have your own relationship, and I always want you to have that like that, I don't want you guys to get involved with our stuff. Kyle continues in a talking head. My sister and my nieces are a package deal. So if Kathy and I have an argument, instead of it just being between us, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I'm cut off from everybody. And that for me is the hardest part, honestly, more than anything. And it is interesting. And it just shows you how Kathy operates, but how Kyle is so intimidated by her sister that she wouldn't reach out to Paris because she knows Kathy would be livid about that. It's really it's so fascinating, this family. Kyle's like, oh God, look how pretty she is. And Kim's like, you know what this reminds me of? Where we grew up. They're looking at the scenery now of the hike. And Dorit's like, this is too cute. Take a picture. I'll take it. Look back. And, she takes a beautiful picture of Kyle and Kim. Dorit goes, I love the relationship between your girls. And Kim's like, because you're not like cousins. They're like sisters. And Dorit's like, yes. And Kyle's like, that don't fight. And Kim's like, I do believe I'm going to get emotional. Life is just too short to fight. It's just like, it's not worth it. Sorry. It just bothers me. And Kim begins to cry and Kyle hugs her and Dorit's like, oh, I love this, you guys. And Kim's like, I want you guys to fix it somehow, you and Kathy. I want you to fix it. Life can be so short. And Kyle's like, I don't know how it even got here. And it got to this degree. And I was having a good time with her and good intentions, wanting her to be in this group. I don't really know how this happened. Well, I mean, I do. You didn't stand up for her. You brought Rinna into that last scene where Rinna was like, you're not going to get away with it, Kathy. It was just too much. And you knew it. You knew it. Kim goes, both of you could have done something a little differently, but in the moment, you don't see that. And so I don't think either one was basically wrong or not wrong. I don't want to get into that too heavy, but I think we all can make different decisions and everything is a lesson. Kyle in a talking head goes, when I think about all the time we are losing right now with babies coming into the family, we could normally all be together during these times. We'd all be close, you know, with these kids like we were with our kids when our kids were all growing up. And that makes me sad. Kyle in this scene goes, sometimes you have to take a little step back and then wait until it's the right time. And Kim's like, but you don't let so much time go that makes so much resentment. Great, actually, sage advice. Next time on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we have Garcelle to her son Jade and Jade's girlfriend Ashlyn. Well, and I'll be like, Jade, hey, you want to watch a movie? And he'll be like, I'm talking on the phone to Ashlyn. And Ashlyn stares and smiles at Jade. And then Garcelle in the talking head's like, Jade is definitely smitten. I want this relationship to go real slow. Then we see a scene with Sutton to her boutique staff of like, hey, 4 years later, Sutton concept, we're still here. You know, I eat lunch in the middle of the day in the actual boutique, but we're still here. I bought everybody a lot of weed to celebrate. No, anyways, he said, we're going to celebrate this. And then we have Sutton's boutique party, lots of guests arriving. And Sutton's like, hi, Dolce and Gabbana. And Garcelle's like, the name's Garcelle. And Sutton's like, then we see a scene with Sutton and Dorit, and Sutton and Dorit, and Sutton's like, well, you have been gossiping about me behind my back, I say. And that's why I got to kill you, Santos. No, she's like, that I heard you been saying I have a drinking problem, which is totally untrue. And Dorit's like, from me? And Sutton's like, you're not my doctor, what? Oh, no, this is a scene with Anne-Marie. You're not my doctor, what? And Anne-Marie's like, I get it, but you're saying things that don't make sense. Don't yell at me, Anne-Marie. Why am I having a doctor's appointment right now? And Anne-Marie's like, that's so condescending. Oh, and that is this week's episode, you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you. I know this show is long. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it brings a little bit of light to your day, even though we get a little snarky, we get a little mean. And also go back and listen to past episodes. We do a lot of great interviews on here, and I really, really love being able to do this and do this with you guys and for you guys and for myself, if I'm being honest. And yeah, do all the things, Patreon, reviews, and remember you are at a weekend, so use this time to recharge, spend time with your family and friends, tell people you love them, because as Kim says, life is too short. Eat something great, drink something good, spend some time by yourself, watch TV, read a book, listen to music, dance like no one's watching, or dance with somebody. And then join me bright and early on Monday for an all-new pop culture roundup, and we will be with you here every day. I love you guys.